The Priestess's time travel. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 926 Entertainment Firsts VI. I'm so sorry for mistaking you for a liar. Zhang Jingxin apologized to the fat man. What could the fat man do but accept the apology? Well, it doesn't matter. It was my own poor performance that caused you to misunderstand. The fat man scratched his fat face and said regretfully, "It's a pity that the role of the little princess is very suitable for your girl. It's a pity that someone else played it." The fat man looked at the little girl who was getting more and more beautiful. His eyes lit up again, and the strange uncle came online. "Little girl, do you want to make a movie? Just because you are so cute, you will definitely become a household name child star." Su Qingni still refused, not interested. She has been an actor for a lifetime, and in this life, Su Qingni doesn't want to be an actor again. The entertainment industry in the city is more chaotic, and beautiful girls will be very sad in the entertainment industry of this world. It is extremely difficult to keep a clean record. She doesn't want to cause trouble for herself. The fat man was very disappointed. He was really optimistic about this girl. The fat man coaxed her relentlessly. "Don't you want to be famous? Don't you want to be loved and admired by everyone?" Su Qingni, "No." The fat man, "Being a star can make a lot of money. You can buy beautiful clothes you like, eat delicious snacks imported from abroad." Su Qingni, "My shop is very profitable." The fat man turned to Zhang Jingxin, "Boss, don't you want to be a star dad?" Zhang Jingxin, "I want to be a star myself." The fat man looked Zhang Jingxin up and down, evaluated him and said, "You can be an actor with your looks. Well, you convince your daughter to be an actor for me, and I will arrange a role for you in my movie." Zhang Jingxin, "Forget it. My daughter doesn't want to be an actor, and I respect her choice." The fat man was helpless. "You are such a good father." Zhang Jingxin, "Thank you for the compliment. Here, this is the set of incense, candles, and paper money you bought." The fat man took the incense, candles, and paper money, paid, and left dejectedly. He returned home in this state, attracting the attention of others. They were all concerned about what happened to Fatty. He was so happy when he went out, but how come he became a frostbitten eggplant when he came back? "Saner, what's wrong with you? Who bullied you? Tell Mom. Mom will help you get back at her." Fatty's mother said angrily. "This woman is a famous shrew in the neighborhood. She is very fierce. If you make her angry, she can pick up a kitchen knife and chop people. The gangsters around this street dare not provoke Fatty's mother. It's the owner of the incense and candle shop and his daughter." Fatty said. Fatty's mother's momentum wilted a little when she heard the word incense and candle shop. She asked clearly, "Saner, Mr. Zhang of the incense and candle shop is quite good to the neighbors. Did you make him angry first, so he attacked you?" "Mr. Zhang didn't attack me," Fatty said. "It's good that he didn't do anything." Fatty's mother thanked God for a few words, and then said to Fatty, "Saner, Boss Zhang is not an ordinary person. Let's take this loss. In the future, you should avoid Boss Zhang when you see him, and never provoke Boss Zhang again." "I didn't provoke Boss Zhang, and I didn't suffer any loss." "Then why do you look so listless?" "Boss Zhang's daughter refused to be my actress." Fatty told his mother about his invitation to Su Qingni but was rejected. After hearing this, Fatty's mother rolled her eyes. "Boss Zhang's family makes more money in a month than you make from making a movie. They are not short of money, so why do you want to be an actress? Being an actor can make you a star, and you will be sought after and liked by many people." Fatty's mother sneered, "What star? Aren't they just actors? When your mother and I were young, actors and actresses were all low class. Qingni's family is rich. Why does she have to show up and make money so early? She still has to go to school." What's more?" Fatty asked curiously. Fatty's mother said, "The Zhang family has inherited skills. Qingni wants to learn skills from Boss Zhang, but she doesn't have time to act in your movie." "What inherited skills?" Fatty asked more curiously. Fatty's mother, "Catching ghosts." Fatty laughed. "Mom, what kind of skills is this? It's pure deception. Where in the world are ghosts?" Fatty went to college like she's Henzhen, especially he went abroad for further studies for a year, so he didn't believe in ghosts and gods. Even when he was a director, he had to worship gods before starting filming. But he only regarded it as a ritual, and didn't believe that worshipping gods was useful. What a lie, Boss Zhang has real skills. Fatty was angry, stretched out his hand to pinch Fatty's ear, twisted it half a circle and said, "You should be more respectful to Boss Zhang in the future. If you dare to disrespect Boss Zhang, I will twist your ear off." Fatty cried out in pain and rescued his ear from his mother's hand. "Mom, I'm your own son. How can you bully your own son for outsiders? I'm teaching you a lesson for your own good. The masters are all capable. If you anger them, they will backstab you and you won't know how you died. How can it be so exaggerated? It is so exaggerated. You kid must never mess with Boss Zhang and his daughter in the future, do you hear me?" "I heard it," the fat man replied sadly, but his interest in Zhang Jingshan Su Qingni became stronger. He really wanted to know how Zhang Jingshan cheated people. But his mother wouldn't let him go, so he could go secretly. Seeing that Boss Zhang was interested in being an actor, he could use this as a temptation to get to know Boss Zhang. After getting familiar with him, he could find out how Boss Zhang cheated people. Well, that's it. The fat man clenched his fist. From then on, whenever he was not working, he would run to the incense and candle shop to chat with Zhang Jingshan. Both of them were very talkative and had similar tastes, so they became very good friends. Except for not asking how Zhang Jingshan cheated people, Fatty had a preliminary understanding of Zhang Jingshan. Fatty liked Zhang Jingshan's character of valuing friendship. After the relationship between the two became better and better, Fatty gave up the idea of getting to the bottom of it. After all, it is a means for others to make money. You can't expose it and let them never make money again, right? Anyway, those who were deceived are willing to take the bait. The camera pulled back, and after the fat man left, Zhang Jingshan began to circle around Shi's Hansun again. Su Qingni went into the kitchen to cook. Since there was a pregnant woman in the family, some food taboos had to be laid out. Hearing Su Qingni's clear explanation, Zhang Jingshan wanted Su Qingni to live with her at home and be responsible for Shi's Hansun's diet. But he also thought about it and would not exploit the girl's labor. Zhang Jingshan asked Su Qingni to write down the dietary taboos for pregnant women, but did not ask Su Qingni why she knew such things. Chapter 927 Entertainment First Zvi. Zhang Jingshan didn't ask Su Qingni why she knew the precautions for pregnant women. He only knew that he had picked up a treasure at the beginning, and he just wanted to help his old lover's child and take care of his old lover's child. He didn't expect that things would turn around. In fact, he and his family were helped more by the little girl. In the sea, even if he didn't help, with the little girl's ability, he wouldn't sink into the sea, right? On the contrary, if the little girl didn't pull her for a while on the road behind, he would sink into the sea and become one of the good brothers in the sea. In fact, the little girl still has spare strength behind her, right? Letting him go is just to cover up. Otherwise, he would be paralyzed after reaching the shore, and the little girl could still run to pick wild pineapples to eat. Zhang Jingshan took the precautions for pregnant women written by Su Qingni to find his mother-in-law, Mrs. Wang, and asked Mrs. Wang to go to her home to take care of Shi's Hansun for a while until the child was born. When Mrs. Wang heard that her little daughter was pregnant, she immediately packed her clothes and took her husband to live with her son-in-law. Anyway, there are 2 daughters-in-law in the family, doing housework and taking care of grandchildren. There are not many places where she can intervene. Rather than staying at home and being despised by her daughter-in-law, she might as well go to her son-in-law's house to take care of her daughter. Her son-in-law's house is not only big, but also has good food. As long as they want, they can eat roasted pigeon for every meal. Well, she can have a few pieces of pigeon meat for every meal, and she can also ask the old man to send it home to satisfy the cravings of her 2 little grandchildren and granddaughter. Old man Shi's legs had long been healed. After following his wife to her son-in-law's house, he took over many of Zhang Jingshan's family's chores. Zhang Jingshan and Shi's Hansun had no room to intervene. Zhang Jingshan felt that he did not invite his father-in-law and mother-in-law to his home, but recruited 2 laborers for free. After Zhang Jingshan and Shi's Hansun left, Su Qingni went upstairs to practice. The shop was still open, and there was a salesperson to help look after the shop. The salesperson was very beautiful, but her face was a little paler than that of ordinary people. If an elderly person saw the salesperson, he might still have some impression. This is the most popular movie star 30 years ago, named Yao Xiaodi. She was very famous at the time, but she was a beauty with a short life. Because of the rumors, Yao Xiaodi could not bear it and finally chose to commit suicide. She loves movies and performances very much, and has formed an obsession, so she does not want to enter reincarnation and stay in the world. Su Qingni met Yao Xiaodi by chance, took her in, and asked her to help watch the shop at night. The shop opened at night, and it is self-evident what kind of guests it welcomes. In addition to Yao Xiaodi, there's Yungu, the clerk in the shop. She has found her 4 daughters. She is very fortunate that her 4 daughters can be said to be a blessing in disguise. After being abandoned by the vicious mother-in-law, they can live better than in her mother-in-law's house. Although the family that adopted the first 3 daughters was not in good condition, they did not lack food and drink for the children, and sent the children to school when they were old. This alone made her very grateful. The 4th daughter had the best life. She was rescued and adopted by a wealthy family, and now lives like a little princess. Yungu is now in a peaceful state of mind. Every day, besides visiting her 4 daughters, she comes to Su Qingni to help and is responsible for the chores in the shop with Yao Xiaodi. Su Qingni taught them how to touch objects, and now they are both responsible for cleaning the shop. Yungu is diligent and also takes on the work of washing clothes and cooking. She is used to doing housework. Although her skills on the stove are ordinary, after Su Qingni's guidance, the food she cooks is getting more and more delicious. Su Qingni is very satisfied with this. The moon is in the middle of the sky. Su Qingni comes down from upstairs and says to Yao Xiaodi and Yungu, "I'm going out for a while." The 2 girls know that Su Qingni must be out doing business, and Yungu hurriedly said, "I'll go with you? There are some things that don't need you to do. I'd better go." Yao Xiaodi said, "I died decades before you, and my ghost power is stronger than yours." Yungu thought about it and retreated. Su Qingni took Yao Xiaodi out of the house and used Qinggong to rush in a certain direction. Yao Xiaodi floated behind Su Qingni, full of admiration. This speed was beyond the reach of even ghosts like them. Su Qingni relied on the induction of 2 amulets she had drawn by herself to arrive outside a villa area, snipped into the villa area, and came to a villa. Without entering the villa, Su Qingni jumped onto a big tree. The big tree was facing the living room on the 2nd floor. Su Qingni could see the scene inside clearly through the big window. Although it was very dark at this time, the people in the house were not asleep. They were flipping through the script, with a smile on their faces, anger, sadness, and dullness. It's no wonder that they can become big stars with such hard work and dedication. Today's big stars are different from those in the 21st century. Today's big stars pay more attention to their professional abilities. Su Qingni looked for a while, and then felt a gloomy wind blowing from a distance and flew into the villa. Tao Ruai also felt the change, woke up from the state of immersion in the script, and looked around vigilantly. Of course, he could not see anything, but Su Qingni and Yao Xiaodi clearly saw a child in black rushing towards Tao Ruai. Just as he was about to pounce on Tao Ruai, the enhanced amulet that Tao Ruai had put on his body took effect and bounced the black child away. The black child let out a shrill scream, and even Tao Ruai heard it. Tao Ruai jumped up from the bed in shock, his face turned extremely pale. He looked around vigilantly, but did not see anything strange. After the scream, the room returned to calm, and even the cold wind that had made his hair stand on end just now disappeared. Tao Ruai remembered something and hurriedly reached into his pajamas pocket to take out the amulet he bought today. Sure enough, the amulet changed. Although it did not turn into ashes like in the movie, the red runes on the yellow paper became much lighter. Tao Ruai could be sure that it was really this amulet that helped him ward off the disaster. Moreover, since he bought the amulet, no bad luck has happened again. This time he met a real immortal, not a charlatan. Tao Ruai held the amulet, and the panic in his heart gradually subsided. How could such a good thing be sold with only 1? Tomorrow he would go to the incense and candle shop again, buy 10 and give 1 to each of his family members. Su Qingni didn't know that a big business was coming. After the black ghost was ejected and retreated, she took Yao Xiaodi and followed a black ghost to another villa. Although the owner of this villa is not an actor or star, he has some connections with the film industry. This is a ruthless investor who has done too many evil things. Chapter 928 Entertainment First 19. Su Qingni frowned when she saw the black energy coming from the villa owner. This person is entangled in evil karma, and who knows how many people he has harmed. He should go to the 18 levels of hell to be forgiven. Su Qingni was not polite, and violently destroyed the altar that the villa owner used to support the black child, and took the child away. As for the backlash, humph, It is the endorsement of the owner that should bear it. The black child was afraid of Su Qingni, and he was obedient all the way and did not dare to resist. Seeing that he became a ghost at such a young age and was driven by others, Yao Xiaodi felt sympathy for the child and pleaded with Su Qingni. Su Qingni said that she would not make things difficult for the child who knew nothing. Back to her own territory, Su Qingni helped the black child solve all the restraints on his body, and sent the black child to the underworld to wait for reincarnation. Her series of actions made someone in a country far away in Southeast Asia bleed from the heart. The next day, Tao Ai came to the incense and candle shop again. Unlike yesterday, Tao Ai came here through someone else's introduction, and he had no idea how powerful the so-called experts were. But after last night, Tao Ai's mentality changed, and he was full of respect and gratitude for the people in the incense and candle shop. Tao Ai's attitude towards Su Qingni, the little girl who sold him the amulet, became better. He no longer treated Su Qingni as an ordinary child, but treated Su Qingni as an equal. Su Qingni sold Tao Ai 10 ordinary amulets, and earned another 1,000 yuan. In the next few days, Tao Ai introduced a few people who were close to him to buy amulets. These people didn't buy 1 or 2, but more than 10, which made the sales of the incense and candle shop soar like a rocket this month. When the bill was settled at the end of the month, the sales of the amulets alone made more than 20,000 yuan. If the fat man knew this amount, he would definitely be jealous to death. You know, the 20,000 yuan was enough for him to make a low-budget movie. Well, the fat man still knew about this. At the end of the month, when the bills were settled and money was counted, Fatty happened to bring roast goose to Zhang Jingshan for a drink. When he saw the stack of banknotes, Fatty's eyes bulged out. But then they shrank back, looking dejected. "What's wrong with you?" Zhang Jingshan asked Fatty curiously. Fatty was an optimistic person, and it was rare to see Fatty looking so listless. Fatty sighed, "It's a problem at work. So I came to you to drink and relieve my worries." Zhang Jingshan pulled Fatty to a low table that was only half a meter high, and sat down on a stool with Fatty. Su Qingni brought them wine and wine glasses, and also served a plate of peanuts. The wine was brandy. It is easier to buy good wine in the city, and it is easier to buy foreign wine than to buy Mayotte and Erguo Tao. Fatty poured a glass of wine and drank it in one gulp. It seemed that he was in a bad mood. Zhang Jingshan asked curiously, "What happened to you at work?" The fat man began to complain, because he insisted on principles in making movies and didn't like the crooked ways in the film industry. He offended many people, and the company's senior management was also dissatisfied with him. In the past, there were movies given to him to direct. But now he can't get 2 movies a year. In the past 6 months, he couldn't get any movies. Today he went to his boss to ask for a movie, but he had a big quarrel with his boss. He resigned in anger. Zhang Jingshan was puzzled. "I heard you say that filming should not be difficult, right? Do you have to have the support of the company? Can't you shoot it yourself?" The fat man said with a bitter face, "I can pull together a group of guys to make movies, and I have some connections in the theater, but the problem is that I don't have money." After that, his eyes turned to Zhang Jingshan. Zhang Jingshan understood that this kid was eyeing the money in his pocket. But making movies is quite profitable. It is said that the so-called investors only need to invest money and wait for the money to be divided. They can make a lot of money without worrying about other things. Zhang Jingshan's heart was itching to make a move. Su Qingni interrupted their conversation and said, "Dad, why don't we register a film company? You can be the boss and invest in Uncle Fatty to make a movie." This sentence touched the hearts of Zhang Jingshan and Fatty. Especially Fatty. He wanted to hug Su Qingni and give her a big kiss. Su Qingni refused uglily, and the little girl put on a serious expression as if she was talking about business with someone, which made Fatty very happy. But after a while, Fatty put away his joking thoughts and put on a serious expression to respond, and he was extremely shocked. How old is the little girl? But she is so capable, and she can talk about the contract terms right away. He and Zhang Jingshan, 2 adults, can only be yes men on the side. Tisk tisk, this little girl is amazing. She is so amazing at such a young age now, won't she be even more amazing when she grows up? While the fat man was distracted for a while, Su Qingni had finished what she wanted to say and asked the 2 people, "Do you have any opinions?" The 2 shook their heads. Zhang Jingshan said, "I don't care about the company's affairs. I am only responsible for investing and collecting money. You can decide everything else, Qingni." The fat man followed up and said, I am responsible for filming the movie and getting it released. I won't take care of other things. Su Qingni snorted, I'm still a child and I have to go to school. How can I take care of so many things? The two people asked in unison, if you don't take care of it, who will? Su Qingni, find a professional manager. What is a professional manager? Zhang Jingxin had never heard of such a term. The fat man, who had spent a year abroad, knew what a professional manager was. He was surprised and said, Qingni is amazing. She even knows about professional managers. Do you know English? Su Qingni rolled her eyes and said, nonsense, if I didn't know, how could I learn foreign knowledge? The fat man raised his thumb and said, compared with you, I feel that I have lived in vain for more than 20 years. Qingni, if you say you can go to the sky in the future, your uncle will believe it. Su Qingni smiled. Not to mention the future, she can go to the sky now, although the time she stays in the air is very short. Su Qingni asked the fat man, Uncle Fatty, how much does it cost for you to make a movie? Do you have a script on hand now? Yes. The fat man said hurriedly, I wrote the script myself, it's a ghost movie. Low cost, it doesn't cost much, only 30,000 yuan can get it all done. Ghost movies are very popular now, and the fat man is no exception. Zhang Jingxin immediately made a decision, I'll give you 30,000 yuan to make a movie. The fat man was overjoyed, brother, thank you so much. There just happens to be a role in my movie that is very suitable for you, do you want to play it? Zhang Jingxin's eyes lit up at once, he could act in a movie. Is it possible that if a film company is opened, I can go to the crew to ask for a role if I want to act in a movie in the future? Yes. Yes. What role? Chapter 929 Entertainment First 20. What role do you want? Zhang Jingxin asked excitedly. Fatty, a charlatan, it's just right for you to play it as you are. Zhang Jingxin. Su Qingni chuckled. If it's to play as you are, she has a more suitable one here. Uncle Fatty, are you short of actresses? Su Qingni asked. Fatty's eyes lit up when he heard it, is Su Qingni willing to act in a movie? Not me. Su Qingni shook her head and said, I know a woman who likes acting very much and her acting skills are not bad. If Yao Xiaodi hadn't heard Fatty and Zhang Jingxin talking about making movies and looked eager, Su Qingni would not have proposed to start a film company. Yao Xiaodi's obsession comes from movies. If she continues to make movies, her obsession will gradually disappear. When Fatty heard that it wasn't Su Qingni, he was a little disappointed and said, okay, when can you ask her to come to me? I'll take a look at her. If your acting skills are really good as you said, I'll accept her. Su Qingni, I'll go find her right away. Uncle Fatty, wait. She lives not far from her house and will be here soon. After that, Su Qingni walked out of the shop. Coming to the deserted and cool alley, Yao Xiaodi appeared under the eaves, looking at Su Qingni eagerly, with a bit of hesitation and disbelief on her face. Sir, can I really act in a movie again? That depends on your own performance. You can only act in a movie if Uncle Fatty accepts you. Yao Xiaodi clenched her fists, I will definitely let Fatty accept me. She won the title of Best Actress before her death. After becoming a ghost for decades, she has not neglected her acting skills. Her acting skills are more perfect than before her death. She is not afraid of others testing her acting skills. Yao Xiaodi floated out from under the eaves excitedly, but then she was hurt by the sun and shrank back under the eaves. Yao Xiaodi looked at Su Qingni with resentment. My lord, I can't appear in the sun. How can I contact ordinary people and participate in the filming of the movie? Su Qingni said, since I asked you to meet Fatty, there must be a way to solve this problem. You are too impatient. Yao Xiaodi. Boss, I was wrong. Yao Xiaodi admitted her mistake obediently, and Su Qingni didn't bother with her. She walked in front of Yao Xiaodi, raised her right hand and stretched out her fingers, outputting her magic power to draw a talisman out of thin air. The talisman with a green glow was pressed into Yao Xiaodi's forehead by Su Qingni. Yao Xiaodi immediately felt her body become heavy, and her feet landed on the ground, able to stand firmly on the ground. She was extremely surprised, and tentatively stretched out a hand outside the eaves. The sun shone on her arm, but there was no longer that burning pain. This is. Yao Xiaodi was extremely surprised. I turned into a human. What good things are you thinking? Su Qingni poured a basin of cold water on Yao Xiaodi. My talisman can protect you from the burning of the sun and keep your feet on the ground, but it cannot change your nature. When the talisman loses its effect, you will become the same as before. Yao Xiaodi asked hurriedly, when will the talisman lose its effect? How long can it last? Su Qingni replied, the talisman I drew for you can last for a month. Yao Xiaodi, in other words, I have to ask an adult to draw a talisman once a month, otherwise I will turn back into a ghost again. Su Qingni nodded, the first time you draw the talisman is free, and each time after that will cost 500 yuan. Yao Xiaodi. Yao Xiaodi, I don't have any real money. Su Qingni looked down on her, have you made money since you became an actor? Yao Xiaodi suddenly realized, yes, as long as you become an actor, making money is easy. Moreover, money in reality is not very useful to her. Except for the money reserved for herself to buy incense, candles and paper money, the rest of the money can be given to Su Qingni. But Su Qingni refused, I am very principled. I will trade fairly. If I say it is 500 yuan at a time, I will only charge 500 yuan. I will never charge more. Yao Xiaodi, sir. Su Qingni stopped her, don't call me this name in the future, so as not to arouse other people's suspicion. Then, how should I call you? Just call me Nora. Nora. It's the English name I gave myself. Su Qingni took Yao Xiaodi to see the fat man. The fat man was stunned when he saw Yao Xiaodi for the first time. Then his eyes widened, and he rushed to Yao Xiaodi and looked at Yao Xiaodi carefully. As a person in the film industry and a professional who loves movies, how could he not know the movie queen Yao Xiaodi who died young 30 years ago? Fatty has seen every movie in which Yao Xiaodi acted, so he is naturally very familiar with her appearance. When he suddenly saw a face that looked exactly like the movie queen Yao Xiaodi, how could Fatty not be surprised and excited? Seeing that Fatty was about to get on Yao Xiaodi, Zhang Jingshan quickly pulled him back. Brother, this looks like a pervert, do you know that? Let me go, I want to get a closer look at people, I want to see Yao Xiaodi. Fatty struggled and shouted. Su Qingni said from the side, Uncle Fatty, this is not Yao Xiaodi, Yao Xiaodi has been dead for 30 years. That's right, the movie queen has long returned to dust. But who is this girl, and why does she look exactly like Yao Xiaodi? Yao Xiaodi was stunned when she heard the fat man's question, and she made up an identity for herself. My name is Yao Manly. Yao Xiaodi is my great-aunt, we are related by blood, so we look alike. I see. The fat man said, you and your great-aunt look so much like each other. I suddenly had an idea, I want to make a biographical movie about Yao Xiaodi, and you will play your great-aunt. Yao Xiaodi opened her eyes wide in surprise. Biographical movie? A biographical movie exclusively for Yao Xiaodi? Yes. The fat man nodded, I like Yao Xiaodi very much, I want more people to know Yao Xiaodi, remember her and like her. Yao Xiaodi's eyes were red, she didn't expect that she had been gone for more than 30 years, and there were still people who remembered and liked her. She looked at the fat man with gratitude and joy, she regarded the fat man as her own. Thank you for liking Yao Xiaodi and remembering Yao Xiaodi. Yao Xiaodi bowed to the fat man sincerely. The fat man quickly dodged, no need to thank me, I just did what I wanted to do. Well, since you are Yao Xiaodi's great niece, you must know a lot of unknown things about her, right? Can you tell me so that I can include it in my script? Yao Xiaodi smiled when she heard it, okay, I heard a lot about my aunt from my elders. If you want to hear it, I will tell you. The fat man was very happy, great. Well, Yao Manly, right? You are accepted. Yao Xiaodi, don't I need to test my acting skills? Fatty, I believe in Yao Xiaodi's juniors. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelist. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 930 Entertainment Verse 21. Fatty swept away his depression and happily took Yao Xiaodi to apply for identity proof. Su Qingni told Fatty that Yao Xiaodi had just smuggled into the city, and Fatty immediately took on the important responsibility of taking care of Yao Xiaodi. Fatty was energetic and busy like a top every day. It didn't take long for him to pull together a crew and prepare to start filming. Su Qingni also built a film company. The main thing was that she found a professional. This person was a career-strong man, but his body did not allow him to work too much, and as a result, he turned into a ghost at a young age. Su Qingni drew him the same talisman as the one on Yao Xiaodi, and let him handle the affairs of the film company. This guy named Ji Gaohan also brought in several capable ghost brothers, and Su Qingni also drew talismans for them to make them employees of the film company. With these powerful employees, the small film company opened by Su Qingni quickly gained a foothold among a number of film companies. Although no work has been released yet, there were some hooligans who wanted to extort money from the company, but all of them had played with their brothers all night, so they didn't dare to ask for the extortion fee the next day. Fatty had been in the circle for so many years, and his network of contacts was quite wide. Although many of the staff members in his crew were not satisfied with their work and were even suppressed by their peers, their professional level was very good. Fatty could not find many people, and most of them were people who held two positions at the same time, but they did a good job without too many omissions. Su Qingni saw the script written by Fatty, which was quite exciting, funny and interesting. Su Qingni gave Fatty a few suggestions and told Fatty some modern plots. Fatty was like a treasure, and he quickly added these plots to his own script. Yao Xiaodi was the undisputed protagonist. Her acting skills shocked everyone in the crew. Fatty said he had found a treasure and praised Yao Xiaodi's acting skills as good as her aunt's. Yao Xiaodi smiled and said nothing. Zhang Jingshan really went to film. Compared with Yao Xiaodi, this guy is a world apart. But he usually pretends to be a charlatan, and now he is just allowed to play his true self, so naturally the filming goes smoothly. In this era, movies are made very quickly, not to mention a low-budget movie. The movie was finished in just 1 month. After the fat man finished editing the movie, he pulled Su Qingni and Zhang Jingshan into the company's screening room to watch the newly filmed movie together. While watching, the fat man kept praising the actors in the movie. Qingni still has a good eye. Needless to say, Manli's acting skills are also very good. The ghosts they played are so vivid, just like real ghosts. Su Qingni smiled. Isn't it a real ghost? Exclamation mark. The real ghost plays the fake ghost. Isn't this the most suitable? Zhang Jingshan was very proud when he saw himself in the movie. He asked Su Qingni, "Am I handsome?" Su Qingni nodded. "That is the most handsome." Zhang Jingshan was very satisfied and asked Fatty, "Fatty, when will the movie be released? I will book the theater and invite all the neighbors to watch the movie." Fatty said, "I have contacted the owners of several cinemas. I will visit them with the film sources in a few days and I will be able to arrange the release. Then I will wait for your good news." The next day, Fatty began to visit the managers of various cinemas. The film industry in the city is very developed, and there are many cinemas, but most of the cinemas are controlled by 3 companies. Among them, CAO's company has the most cinemas. It is a giant in itself. In addition to film companies and cinemas, CAO also has TV stations and record companies. Even the film studios used by all film companies for filming are built by CAO's company. CAO's company has no shortage of film sources, so its cinemas only play movies shot by its own company and will not accept movies shot by other companies or individuals. The company that controls the second most cinemas is Jin's Cinema Company. This company only has cinemas and does not participate in filming. Therefore, the films released are purchased from outside. It is the best choice for many small film companies and individuals to shoot movies. The third most is Zhu's Film Company, which is the company that Fatty used to work for. There are also many cinemas that are single-handed. The owners of these cinemas have and only have one cinema. They are also the choice of small film companies and individuals to shoot movies, but their number is too small. Adding them all together, the number is less than 10% of the number of cinemas in the entire city. Fatty negotiated with the owners of those small cinemas and went to find the manager of Jin's company who specializes in cinemas. If Jin's company agrees to show their film, then the film can be shown in 35% of the cinemas. Although it is not even half of the number, Fatty is also very satisfied. He believes in his ability. In the future, the films he shoots will definitely be sought after by many people. Film companies will kneel down and beg him to show the film in their cinemas. At that time, his film will occupy all the cinemas in the power. However, Fatty went out in high spirits but came back dejected. Needless to say, the negotiation was unsuccessful. Jin's company was unwilling to show their film. If Jin's company did not show it, the small films that had been negotiated before would also back off and cancel the screening of their films. Fatty was so anxious that he pulled his hair and almost pulled his head bald. Fatty was already a bit eye-catching, and if he became bald again, he would never find a wife in this life. Fatty, why doesn't Jin's company show a film? Didn't you say that Jin's company and Zhu's company are hostile? Just because you left Zhu's company, will they show the film you shot? Zhang Jingxin asked. Fatty said angrily, they did agree to show our film, but he, the manager of Jin Cinema, is a vampire. He actually wanted to buy out our film for 50,000 yuan and hinted that I should give him a kickback. Damn, he is taking advantage of the fire. Let him buy out the film source for 50,000 yuan, what can we make? We are already losing money. He still wants kickbacks. Aren't you afraid of eating him too much? Fatty scolded Jin's manager. However, other than cursing, Fatty couldn't think of any other way to get his movie into Jin Cinema. Because the manager's surname was Jin, and he was a member of the Jin family. He dared to make such a request, and it would be useless even if Fatty looked for someone else. Fatty didn't want to sell his work at a low price. I'm sorry, Su Qingni, I didn't do it well this time, and it will cause you to lose money. Chapter 931 Entertainment Verse 22. Uncle Fatty, we haven't reached the end of our rope yet, so why are you saying we're losing money? Even if we're at the end of our rope, there will always be light at the end of the tunnel. Su Qingni smiled. Can you tell me the name of that manager Jin? Why are you asking him? Fatty asked. Su Qingni smiled slightly. Of course, we're going to find a lobbyist to persuade manager Jin to agree to arrange for our movie to be shown in Jin Cinema at the most favorable price. Lobbyist. Fatty blinked. Who has such a big face? Su Qingni smiled but said nothing. Zhang Jingxin looked at Su Qingni's expression and seemed to understand something. Su Qingni walked to Fatty, and thanks to Fatty being sitting, she could pat Fatty's shoulder. Uncle Fatty, don't be depressed. Go back and take a shower and have a good sleep, and you'll get good news tomorrow. Fatty was half believing and half doubting and was fooled away by Su Qingni. He turned around and saw Zhang Jingxin looking at him with complicated eyes. Su Qingni smiled slightly at Zhang Jingxin. She noticed that Zhang Jingxin had discovered her, and both of them knew it. However, Zhang Jingxin chose to pretend that he had not noticed anything, so Su Qingni followed his lead and remained silent. The next day, Fatty was awakened by the ringing of the phone before he even got up. He answered the phone very unhappily, and asked in a grumpy voice, "Who is it? You disturbed my sleep so early in the morning." "It's me, Jin Shingyun." The voice on the phone was not very loud, and it was trembling. "Manager Jin? What do you want to talk to me about so early?" When Fatty heard the name of the person on the phone, his attitude immediately changed, and he asked in a rather servile manner. "Well, Peng Zhi, bring the source of your movie to my office as soon as possible, and we will sign the contract right away," Jin Shingyun said. Fatty changed again, becoming cold and icy. "Manager Jin," I said, 50,000 yuan is not enough to buy out my movie. Who the hell wants to buy out your movie? The share, our theater will give you a share, 40% to 60%, you 60% and I 40%. What? Share? Or 40% to 60%? Did it rain red from the sky? There is such a good thing. Come here quickly. Although Jin Shingyun's voice was still trembling, he sounded a little impatient. Fatty didn't care about Jin Shingyun's bad tone. His mind was now full of words like divide in 60%. It's a pie in the sky, and it's a golden pie. It's so delicious. Don't worry about other places. Fatty immediately washed and changed clothes. In less than 10 minutes, he rushed out of his apartment and took a taxi to Jin's Cinema Company. When he saw Jin Shingyun in his office, Fatty found that Jin Shingyun looked very bad. His whole face was extremely pale and his eyes were dark blue. He looked as if he had been squeezed dry by someone for a night without sleep. Fatty couldn't help but kindly reminded him, "Manager Jin, you should take it easy in the future. Don't grind the iron pillar into an embroidery needle." Jin Shingyun heard the implication of Fatty's words and was so angry. Did he become like this because of that kind of thing? He was scared. He didn't sleep all night. If this fat man had not been related to those ghosts, he really wanted to kick this fat man out. Jin Shingyun breathed in and out, to calm himself down. Now that he was under someone else's roof and his life was threatened, he endured it. When those things no longer paid attention to him, he would immediately go to the most famous temple in the city to find a monk to help him, and he would also invite those masters of the mysterious sect. No matter how much it cost. The fat man signed a contract that was very beneficial to them in a days. and returned to the film company established by Su Qingni in a daze. Zhang Jingshan came to the company early in the morning to wait for news. He believed that Su Qingni would definitely keep her promise. Seeing the fat man come in, Zhang Jingshan immediately asked, "Fatty, how is it?" The fat man chuckled, "The contract has been signed, and it will be released in Jin's cinema in a week. Jin has arranged 50% of the screening volume for us." Zhang Jingshan didn't know what the screening volume was. He only knew that the movie he shot was about to be released, and he would definitely book the theater and invite all the neighbors to watch it. By then he will be a star too. The fat man pinched his chin and said, "I didn't expect Jin Shingin to give us so many discounts. Which big shot did Qingni ask to help us?" A clerk of the company passed by the two of them with a stack of documents. When he heard what the fat man said, the corners of his mouth curled up. "What big shot? Isn't it him? He just restored his ghost identity and went to Jin Shingin to play for a night." Ji Gaohan came over and gave the clerk a warning look. The clerk immediately lowered his head and ran away. Ji Gaohan walked to the fat man and Zhang Jingshan and discussed the preparations before the movie was released with the fat man. Zhang Jingshan was not interested in what they said. He touched his nose and ran to chat with a beautiful receptionist. Well, he just likes to chat with a beautiful but he has no intention of betraying his wife. The beautiful smiled sweetly, and her dimple seemed to be able to suck people in. "This one looks harmless, but in fact, she is the most powerful one in the whole company. She was caught by Su Qingni herself, and her hands were stained with the blood of living people. But the blood belonged to the scum who killed her, and that scum not only killed her, but also killed many innocent pretty girls. Therefore, Su Qingni did not throw her into the 18th level of hell to be punished for her murder, but let her work in the company." The pretty girl was amused by Zhang Jingshan, but she could also see that Zhang Jingshan was just chatting and laughing with her, without any ulterior motives. She admired such a man, but it was a pity that she had never met such a man when she was alive. Suddenly, an idea came to her mind. When Su Qingni came to the company after school, the pretty girl found Su Qingni. "What? You want to be my dad's daughter?" Su Qingni was surprised. The beautiful girl nodded vigorously. "Isn't it said that a daughter is her father's lover in the previous life, and a father will love his daughter very much? I think Zhang Qingshan is very good. I can't be his lover, but being his daughter is okay, right? Su Qingni. Su Qingni, with the sins you have, it will take at least several decades to eliminate them all and reincarnate. By then, my father will be an old man, and you can't be his daughter." The beautiful girl was dumbfounded, and after a while she said, "Master Kang can still make a woman give birth in his 60s, your father should be able to do it too, right?" Su Qingni chuckled twice. "My father will not betray sisters Henzhen. A woman in her 60s will definitely not be able to give birth to a child." The beautiful girl was deeply shocked and fell silent. Su Qingni patted her shoulder, turned and left, leaving the girl alone to lick her wounds. Chapter 932 Entertainment Verse 23. Su Qingni considerately gave the beautiful girl some space to lick her wounds, but after she had taken only 2 steps, she heard the girl's faint voice from behind. "I don't want to be your father's daughter anymore, I can be his granddaughter, right?" Su Qingni tripped over her left foot and almost fell. A week passed in a flash, and the Fat Man's movie was released in Jin Cinema and more than a dozen small cinemas. Zhang Jingshan kept his word and paid for the show to invite the neighbors to watch the movie. Anyway, the cost of booking the theater is not much. For him, he can make it back by selling a few more amulets and doing more field work. Zhang Jingshan nervously accompanied Shi's Henzhen. After all, it was a ghost movie, and some scenes were quite scary. Shi's Henzhen was pregnant. What if she was scared and affected her stomach? But Shi's Henzhen was brave, and she knew that the man next to her was a real master, so she was not afraid at all, and stared at the screen happily the whole time. When Zhang Qingshan appeared on the big screen, Shi's Henzhen laughed out loud. Zhang Jingshan looked at Shi's Henzhen with resentment. "Am I that funny?" "No." Shi's Henzhen comforted Zhang Jingshan. "You are very handsome." Zhang Jingshan was comforted and grinned. Then he heard his wife sigh. "The actress who played the female ghost is so beautiful." She glanced at Zhang Jingshan. "You have 2 scenes with her, and you are not attracted to her." Zhang Jingshan hurriedly expressed his loyalty to his wife. No. In my eyes, my wife is the most beautiful. No one is as beautiful as my wife. Besides, this Yao Manli is not an ordinary person. He was just bored and provoked Yao Manli. Although Zhang Jingxin did not have the talent for cultivation, his mental power was sharper than that of ordinary people, and he was good at observation. After being with Yao Manli and other ghosts for a long time, Zhang Jingxin discovered that they were different from ordinary people. Recalling some small details, Zhang Jingxin had a guess about the identity of Yao Manli and other employees. He really admired the courage and ability of his adopted daughter. He did not have the ability of his adopted daughter, so he would never provoke those beings. Yao Xiaodi, who was sitting not far from them, heard the conversation between the two. She turned her head and looked at Zhang Jingxin with a thoughtful expression. After a moment, Yao Xiaodi whispered to Su Qingni beside her, "Nora, your father seems to have discovered our identity." Su Qingni hummed, not surprised at all. "My father is a very smart man. He knows how to deal with you. You will just be the same as before. You will get along with him the same way as before." Yao Xiaodi retracted her gaze and sighed, "You two are not ordinary people. I used to look down on Zhang Jingxin because he was an ordinary person, but now I know I was wrong." When the movie was first released, the performance was not very good. After all, the whole movie was almost full of newcomers, and there were no famous movie stars, so few people bought it to watch the movie. Jin Shingyun thought that Jin Cinema would lose money because of this movie, but a turning point came. A film critic came to see the movie. This film critic loves movies as much as the fat man, and naturally recognized Yao Xiaodi. It was because the heroine on the poster looked exactly like Yao Xiaodi that the film critic came to see the movie. It turned out that the heroine's acting skills were no worse than Yao Xiaodi's, and the acting skills of other actors were also online. The plot was quite exciting, and many scenes were even more eye-catching. The film critic was simply pleasantly surprised. It was like he was going to eat the restaurant's signature dish, but the restaurant served him a full banquet. The film critic immediately went home and wrote a film review and published it in the newspaper. The film review was full of praise for the movie. Others became interested in the movie after seeing this film review. The heroine who looks exactly like the queen of the film 30 years ago? So bizarre? You must go and see it. Most people went to the cinema because of this, but they just wanted to see the excitement. I didn't expect the movie to be really good. Ordinary people don't understand what acting is, they just think the plot is interesting, and those novel scenes make them laugh even more. This is a good movie in their eyes. So through word of mouth, the popularity of the movie has increased, and more people go to the cinema to watch movies. There was a long queue in front of Jin Cinema. All of them were there to buy tickets to watch Fatty's movie. Seeing these long queues, Jin Shingyun calculated the box office revenue in the past few days, and his mouth widened. The resentment in his heart disappeared because of money. Since Fatty's movie could make him money, he would not look for an expert. Well, anyway, the ghost didn't do anything to him, just dragged him to talk about the stars, the moon, and life. He endured it. Yao Xiaodi became famous again. Many crews sent her invitations to invite her to participate in their movies. Half of these people were attracted by Yao Xiaodi's appearance, and the other half were attracted by Yao Xiaodi's acting skills. These people are professionals, and Yao Xiaodi's acting skills really amazed them. If there is no external interference, they still hope to cooperate with people with acting skills. Yao Xiaodi had to reluctantly refuse these invitations. There is no way, although it can't be seen from the outside, she is still a ghost in essence. Let her, a ghost, mix in a group of people, and the yang energy of those people makes her unbearable. What if the flaws are exposed and someone sees through his identity? It is better to stay in the company and shoot the company's movies. Unfortunately, the company currently has only one director, Fatty. Yao Xiaodi looked at Fatty with resentment. "Fatty, why don't you prepare for the next movie quickly?" Fatty, who is enjoying his success, is so happy during this period. He is no longer invisible when attending gatherings in his circle, and he is sought after when attending business gatherings. Fatty is feeling proud. He likes this feeling and wants to enjoy it for a while longer. Besides, after working so hard for so long, he should have a good rest for a while. However, the ghost employees in the company don't know fatigue. They don't need to rest. They are looking forward to starting work as soon as possible. Especially those ghost actors, they like acting, like appearing on the big screen and being noticed. They want to act. All the ghosts stared at Fatty with expectant eyes, unconsciously emitting a gloomy airflow. Fatty got goosebumps all over his body, but he didn't understand what was going on. The sun is so bright, why is it so cold in the company? The quality of this air conditioning is too good, isn't it? The actual manager of the company, General Manager Ji Gaohun, smiled at the fat man sinisterly. Everyone is waiting for you to start work quickly. But I want to rest for a while. The fat man said weakly. Ji Gaohun snorted, you are the only director in the company. If you rest, won't the entire company stop working? Chapter 933 Entertainment Verse 24. If you take a break, won't the company have to stop working? The fat man said bitterly, why am I the only director in the company? Why don't they hire more directors? Ji Gaohun, we haven't found a director that meets the company's recruitment requirements yet. The fat man, Alice, the company's requirements are too high. It's true, there are not many directors as good as me. He was quite proud after saying that. Ji Gaohun glanced at him and thought, if you were not the boss's friend, if you were not bold, how could the company let you be a director? The boss didn't come to the company very often, but he also noticed that everyone was different. You, who hang out with us every day, didn't notice it. You are really careless. Ji Gaohun said, so, when will you start working? The fat man, it's impossible to start working, I still have to write the script. Ji Gaohun, the company can buy the script written by others at a high price and you can shoot it. The fat man shook his head, I only want to shoot the script I wrote myself. In the past, he didn't have the power to be willful. He could only shoot whatever the company arranged for him to shoot. He shot several bad movies. Because of this, he really didn't want to make bad movies anymore. The boss of the company was his good friend, and he became a big director because of a movie, so he was qualified to be willful. So it was okay to be willful for a while? He would not let the company stop working. The fat man said, I know a guy, he is very talented, as talented as me. Ji Gaohun laughed in his heart, I'm afraid that he is more talented than you. The fat man continued, this guy is called Fan Pengju. He was originally a very promising director, but he offended the Prince of Zeus family and was suppressed by the prince. Moreover, he has a bad temper and also offended the senior executives of CAO's and Jin's family, which made it impossible for him to gain a foothold in the film industry. He has been very miserable these years. The company can recruit him. As long as they tell him that they want him to make a movie and the company will not interfere with his filming work, he will definitely throw himself into the arms of the company immediately. Ji Gaohun raised his eyebrows and asked the fat man for a lot of information about Fan Pengju. After judging that Fan Pengju is a guy who was obsessed with art and had a somewhat eccentric personality, he felt that this person was more suitable for the company, so he said to the fat man, are you free now? Take me to find Fan Pengju. Okay. The fat man said hurriedly. He always felt that it was a pity that Fan Pengju could not make a movie, and wanted to help Fan Pengju, but unfortunately he never had the chance. Now that there is an opportunity, of course he must quickly grab it for Fan Pengju. The fat man immediately took Ji Gaohun to Fan Pengju's residence to find someone, but unfortunately they were a step late. Fan Pengju is dead, died of alcohol poisoning. After he could no longer make movies, he spent his days drinking heavily and finally drank himself to death. Fatty was very sad. He found out that Fan Pengju died 3 days ago. If he had come to see Fan Pengju earlier, he might not have died, right? Fatty couldn't help but blame himself. Ji Gaohun patted Fatty's shoulder and comforted him, don't be sad, your friend doesn't blame you. On the contrary, he is very happy that you think of him and give him a chance. Fatty was puzzled, why don't I understand what you said? Fan Pengju is dead, can you still communicate with him? Ji Gaohun smiled at Fatty in an unfathomable way, go back to the company. Fatty didn't understand, and followed Ji Gaohun with doubts and sadness. He didn't know that there was a Fan Pengju following behind them. After returning to the company, Ji Gaohun did not ask Fatty to start filming, but gave Fatty a vacation and let him go home to think about the new script. Fatty felt that Ji Gaohun was considerate of him, and left gratefully, without seeing the sympathetic eyes cast on him by others. When Fatty comes back to the company next time, he will be shocked. I hope he is not scared to death. So, a few days later, Fatty came to the company and saw a familiar figure. You, Fan Pengju. Fatty was so scared that his teeth were chattering and his legs were shaking like sieves. Anyone who sees a friend who died not long ago appear in front of him will be scared like this. Fatty was lucky that he did not faint directly. But his worldview was completely shattered. There are really ghosts in this world. My friend turned into a ghost and can also be my colleague. Damn it. Am I dreaming? Fatty stretched out his hand and slapped him. It hurt, but it was not a dream. Fatty? Why did you hit yourself? Fatty's friend spoke. Fuck. Fan Pengju, you are real? I am not dreaming. Of course I am not dreaming. You are not a ghost? How did you appear in front of people? What's wrong with ghosts? Ghosts also want careers. I want to continue to make movies and be a director, so I joined the company. Everyone knows that you are a ghost? Aren't they afraid? The fat man looked around at the company's employees. The employees gave the fat man the same mysterious smile. No, we are all the same kind. What are we afraid of? The same kind? What do you mean? The fat man swallowed his saliva, and felt that the smiles of his colleagues who used to be amiable were very strange. What do you think? Ji Gaohan asked back with a smile. It's not what I think it means, right? The fat man asked. Ji Gaohan, it's what you think it means. The fat man rolled his eyes and fainted. Tisk tisk, the fat man is still a little timid. Zhang Jingshan said while sitting on the sofa on the side. Su Qingni laughed and said, no one is braver than that. Zhang Jingshan poked Su Qingni on the head in annoyance. Why did you suddenly stop hiding it from me and Fatty? Is it okay to expose their identities like this? Su Qingni said, you will know sooner or later. How could you not find out after such contact for a long time? Didn't you find out a long time ago? Now is a good opportunity. Now that Uncle Fatty knows the truth, the filming will go more smoothly in the future. Zhang Jingshan sighed, but I'm an atheist. Su Qingni just smiled and said nothing. Zhang Jingshan sighed for a long time before he said to Su Qingni, well, when I helped people deal with things before, were those things always caused by ghosts? Su Qingni nodded, more than 1/3 of them are. Zhang Jingshan touched the jade pendant on his chest and asked Su Qingni, those ghosts don't bother me. Is it the credit of this jade pendant? Su Qingni naturally admitted, yes, I made this jade into a high-level amulet, which is immune to all evil. Zhang Jingshan's eyes sparkled, is this thing easy to make? I want 2 more pieces. For his wife and unborn child. Su Qingni chuckled, as long as Dad prepares the materials, I will make it for you. Zhang Jingshan was happy, okay, it just so happens that I have several pieces of good materials on hand. Chapter 934 Entertainment Verse 25. The fat man opened his eyes and saw Zhang Jingshan sitting beside him, looking at him with disdain. He immediately yelled, rushed to Zhang Jingshan and hugged Zhang Jingshan's thigh. Master, please protect me. Zhang Jingshan pushed the fat man away with disdain. Look at how cowardly you are. The fat man, how can I not be cowardly? There are ghosts everywhere. I'm not like you, who knows how to catch ghosts and exorcise them. Zhang Jingshan's old face rarely blushed. He actually didn't know how to do these. But the fat man was still in fear and didn't notice that Zhang Jingshan was wrong. Well, these are all good ghosts in the company. You have worked with them for so long, and they haven't hurt you. Right. Zhang Jingshan comforted the fat man. The fat man thought about it and said, even if they won't harm me, it's true that if people get along with the ghosts for a long time, they will be unconsciously sucked away by ghosts. Will people be unlucky or even die without yang energy? Don't worry, our company's employees won't absorb people's yang energy. You see, they are no different from living people, and can even walk in the sun. Do they need your little yang energy? That's right. The fat man thought about the performance of the ghosts in the company, and they were really no different from humans. If he didn't know clearly that Fan Pengju is dead, and if the company employees didn't personally admit their identities, he really wouldn't have noticed the abnormality of everyone. Zhang Jingshan said again, if you are still worried about your life, then go to Qingni and buy a talisman and carry it with you. Buy. The fat man raised his voice, afraid that it would disappear in an instant. With our friendship, you still want to take my money. Zhang Jingshan, friendship is friendship, transaction is transaction, they can't be confused. At most, I will ask Qingni to give you a 10% discount. You, granted. Who is granted? Zhang Jingshan, who only went to elementary school in his hometown, asked. The fat man laughed and had a reason to laugh at Zhang Jingshan, you illiterate, read more books. Zhang Jingshan rolled his eyes, I have read a lot of books, all of which are books you can't understand. He has read a lot of books in the past year, especially books on feng shui. The fat man also knew which books Zhang Jingshan read, and knew that he couldn't argue with Zhang Jingshan in this regard, so he quickly changed the subject. Jingshan. Is Yao Manli also a ghost? The fat man asked. Zhang Jingshan nodded. The fat man swallowed his saliva and asked carefully, Yao Manli is actually Yao Xiaodi, right? Zhang Jingshan nodded again. The fat man exhaled, as expected. I said, even if they are related by blood, it is impossible for two people to look exactly the same and have the same great acting skills. It turns out that Yao Manli is Yao Xiaodi. I will give it to her. Then I will cooperate with my idol? My idol actually participated in the movie I directed. What should I do if I am so proud? Zhang Jingshan rolled his eyes. Aren't you afraid of Yao Xiaodi? The fat man, my idol is so beautiful and kind. Even if she becomes a ghost, she will be the most beautiful and kind ghost. She will not hurt others, let alone people who have the same hobbies as her. The door of the lounge was pushed open, and Ji Gaohan appeared at the door. Seeing Ji Gaohan and thinking of his identity, the fat man couldn't help but shudder. He was still afraid of what to do. However, the words that Ji Gaohan said made the fat man's fear disappear immediately. Is it enough to rest for a few days? It's time to work. No, I was frightened today, and I need to rest for a few days to calm my heart. The fat man threw his fear to the wind and looked at Ji Gaohan like a farmhand seeing Zhou Baopi. Ji Gaohan chuckled twice. You have two choices. 1. I will send my brothers to serve you 24 hours a day to rest. 2. Start working immediately. I choose to start working immediately. The fat man jumped up. Ji Gaohan turned and left, and the fat man hurried to catch up. What's so scary about ghosts? The most terrifying thing is the boss who exploits people. The fat man sat in the conference room, with a ghost boss sitting above him, the ghost's friend sitting on the right, and the ghost's colleague sitting opposite. The fat man was in tears. Fatty, have you written your new script? Ji Gaohan called the fat man. Fatty quickly collected his wandering thoughts and answered like a primary school student, well, I've written half of it. Ji Gaohan asked, what's the theme? What's the general content? How long will it take to finish it? Fatty glanced at the ghosts in the conference room and answered, it's about zombies, and the main content is. After explaining the general plot, Fatty asked everyone, well, zombies are also ghosts. Our company has a much greater advantage than other companies in making ghost movies, so it should be easy to make zombie movies, right? Everyone in the conference room rolled their eyes at him. Zombies and us are two completely different species. Don't put us in the same category with stinky zombies. Really? Fatty shrank his head. Ji Gaohan said, although they are different species, you are right. It is easier for us to make zombie movies than other companies. So, you can finish the rest of the script while forming a crew. Fatty took the task. This time when forming a crew, he had to be careful in selecting people, and he must find those who are brave and tight-lipped. People who are not tight-lipped are absolutely not allowed to enter the crew. He is not afraid that this person will leak the ghost story. After all, not many people will believe it if he tells it out, and they will only think that he is sensational. What he is worried about is that the man will make the ghost colleagues in the company laugh and directly take the man's life. The fat man was thinking about a list of staff to find in his mind, and Ji Gaohan had already discussed the work with another new director. Fan Pengji has a lot of scripts in his hands, all of which he created himself. He wrote scripts himself when he was sober in these years. Some scripts were sold to buy wine, and some he was reluctant to sell and kept in his own hands. Even though he thought that those scripts would never be made into movies. But he didn't expect that after his death, these scripts would see the light of day again. He can also become a director and shoot movies himself. From this point of view, being a ghost is actually not bad. The prince of the Zhu family should not think of causing trouble for him and suppressing him again. If he dares to take action against him again, he will go to chat with him at night. See if he is afraid? This time, Fan Pengji took out a martial arts script. He liked the carefree and unrestrained scenes of eating meat and drinking in the martial arts world, and he once imagined himself to be the knight in the script. Martial arts. When the fat man came to his senses and heard Fan Pengji talking about the content of the script, he said, martial arts are not easy to shoot. Nowadays, martial arts movies are all the same, and the fighting scenes are carved out of a template. They are very fake and people don't want to watch them anymore. Chapter 935 Entertainment Verse 26. Martial arts films were very popular a dozen years ago or even a few years ago, which led to the proliferation of martial arts films. 80% of the films in the cinema were martial arts films. After the craze subsided, martial arts films disappeared in the cinema. First, many martial arts films are the same old story, and the audience is tired of watching the same old plot. Second, the old-fashioned fighting methods and the so-called light skills also make many young people feel very boring. The so-called light skills are nothing more than bending the legs and then being pulled to the wall or the roof by the pressure. There is no beautiful shape or action. As for fighting, those punches and kicks look like that, but if you really hit someone like that, it won't work at all. It's not that young people didn't fight with others according to the moves in the movie, but they were defeated by the random punches of others. Therefore, except for some older people who still miss martial arts films, young people don't like martial arts films. Fan Pengju wants to shoot a martial arts film at this time. Isn't he afraid that no one will come to watch it? Isn't he afraid of losing his inner treasury? Fan Pengju answered the fat man's question confidently. I believe my script is very exciting and can attract the audience. The fat man chuckled and asked a soul-searching question. What about the martial arts moves? Fan Pengju smiled. Fatty, have you forgotten who we are? We are ghosts. Even without wires, we can fly, and we can fly beautifully. What do you think of pretending to be light-hearted like this? How about it? It must be very eye-catching. What about fighting? The fat man continued to ask. Fan Pengju showed a proud smile. Aunt Liu introduced us to the best martial artist. Aunt Liu is a cleaner in the company. The fat man didn't know if she was also a ghost, but he doubted that a cleaner could know any powerful martial artists. Nowadays, martial artists are all in gangs and factions, and they are all won over by those big film companies. Pansy didn't think there would be any martial artists left out that they would be lucky enough to bump into. When the fat man was scolded, everyone in the conference room smiled meaningfully. Ji Gaohan asked the fat man, "Do you know Wang Fihong?" "Yes, he is one of the 10 tigers of Guangdong." The fat man nodded. Thanks to a movie starring Wang Fihong 2 years ago, the fat man was not unfamiliar with this name. Foshan Shadowless Kick. Ji Gaohan laughed. Our martial artist is Mr. Wang Fihong. What? The fat man's eyes almost popped out of their sockets. He turned his neck stiffly and looked at everyone present, wanting to get a word from them that Ji Gaohan is kidding. But there was no answer. Wang Fihong has been dead for decades, right? The fat man stuttered. Has he not reincarnated yet? Yao Xiaodi smiled and said, I have been dead for more than 30 years, and I have not reincarnated yet. The fat man was about to cry. Our company is still, there are really crouching tigers, hidden dragons. He would not be surprised if a Qing dynasty emperor appeared in their company. Fan Pengju reached out and patted the fat man on the shoulder. You have to get used to it. Yes, I'm used to it. The fat man rubbed his fat cheeks. What else could he do except get used to it? But the fat man is worthy of being a fat man, with strong nerves. After accepting a celebrity ghost as a colleague in the company, the fat man began to think about other things. Well, how about our company also make a movie with Master Wang as the protagonist, and let Master Wang star in it himself? Ji Gaohan shook his head. Master Wang will not make a movie. He doesn't like to be in the limelight. If he doesn't like to be in the limelight, how can he become one of the 10 tigers of Guangdong? And many people know about it. The fat man muttered. Even if his voice was low, it could not be hidden from the group of non-humans in the conference room. Ji Gaohan heard it and said, times are different. At that time, Master Wang had to appear in front of people to protect the general public. Now that peace has come, Master Wang will of course not show up again. Fatty was curious. I heard that ghosts stay in the human world because they have obsessions. What obsession does Master Wang have that makes him stay in the human world? Ji Gaohan, this is Master Wang's private matter. If you want to know, go and ask Master Wang yourself. Fatty shrunk his shoulders. He was timid and didn't dare to ask. The meeting was over, and everyone in the company started to work. Fatty didn't dare to be lazy and rest this time. He worked very hard every day, so Ji Gaohan decided to give Fatty a Diligent Employee Award at the end of the year and give his brother a big red envelope. Fan Pengju's movie started shooting, and his crew was different from Fatty's crew. Half of the employees in Fatty's crew were humans, while the staff and actors in Fan Pengju's crew were ghosts. The behind-the-scenes staff were all hired by Fan Pengju, and their skills were not bad. No wire work was needed, and the ghosts used magic to handle the special effects, making the filming of this movie go very smoothly. It was completed in less than a month. Ji Gaohan took the film to Jin Shingyun. Although they had a pleasant experience of cooperation, And the film of Ji Gaohan's company made a lot of money for Jin. Jin Shingyun shook his head when he saw that the film was a martial arts film. There is no market for martial arts films now. If I arrange for this film to be released, it will eventually make us Jin lose money. Jin Shingyun refused. The consequence of losing money made him forget his fear of ghosts. How can you say discouraging words when you haven't even seen the film? Ji Gaohan said. I'm telling the truth. Jin Shingyun said. Ji Gaohan, you should watch the film first. No, there's no need to waste time. Jin Shingyun shook his head. Ji Gaohan smiled and said, do you know Fan Pengju? Yes, that stubborn director. Jin Shingyun had an impression of Fan Pengju. After all, Fan Pengju offended the Prince of Zeus family and was banned by him. As a rival of Zeus family, Jin's family once tried to recruit Fan Pengju. Who would have thought that this guy was not only stubborn, but also had a bad mouth and low emotional intelligence, and the persistence of a so-called artist, which annoyed the people who recruited him in their own company and CAO's company, and they gave up on him. The three major companies gave up on this person, so would those small film companies still use him? This person must have a very miserable life. How is he? Jin Shingyun asked. Ji Gaohan, more than a month ago, Fan Pengju died of alcohol poisoning. He died young. Jin Shingyun sighed and asked Ji Gaohan, why do you mention this person? Ji Gaohan pointed at the film. This movie was shot by Fan Pengju. Oh? Fan Pengju's posthumous work. Jin Shingyun looked at the film. Although we can make a fuss about this, it won't attract many audiences. After all, Fan Pengju is just a director, not an actor or a star. No. Ji Gaohan smiled. It's not a posthumous work. This film is the work that Fan Pengju shot this month. Chapter 936 Entertainment Verse 27. This film was shot by Fan Pengju in the past month. What nonsense are you talking about? Fan Pengju is dead, how can he shoot it? Jin Shingyun's words got stuck in his throat. He remembered the night when the ghost came to talk to him. Jin Shingyun's voice trembled. What did you say? This was shot by Fan Pengju? It was shot after he died. Ji Gaohan nodded. Jin Shingyun suddenly opened the drawer of his desk and took out a lot of things. Ji Gaohan looked at the things piled on the desk. Talismans made of yellow paper folded into a triangle, Buddhist beads, silver crosses, the Bible, Buddhist scriptures, Tao Te Ching. Jin Shingyun still found the so-called masters and spent a lot of money to buy all these things. Ji Gaohan's mouth twitched, and he wanted to tell Jin Shingyun that these things were useless to them ghosts. Instead of spending so much money on these ineffective things, it would be better to go to the boss's incense and candle shop to buy an amulet. Jin Shingyun put the cross on his neck, put the yellow talisman in his suit pocket, and put the Buddhist beads on his wrist. Then he said to Ji Gaohan, let's go to the screening room. Ji Gaohan's mouth twitched even more. He followed Jin Shingyun out of the office and headed to the screening room in silence. The movie shot by Fan Pengju is very exciting. The fighting scenes were beautiful and full of tension. The so-called light skills really seemed to be out of gravity, beautiful and elegant. Jin Shingyun was attracted at once, and he was still reluctant to watch it after the movie was over. Jin Shingyun understood that this was a wonderful movie and would definitely help Jin Cinema make a lot of money. Gee, we want this movie. How about the cooperation terms from last time? Jin Shingyun was in a good mood and forgot that the director of the movie was a ghost. Ji Gaohan nodded in agreement. Such cooperation terms were very favorable. Both parties could make money and achieve a win-win situation. Ji Gaohan left, and Jin Shingyun held his bits and pieces in his hands and looked up at the sky at a 45-degree angle. He was in a difficult situation. When Fan Pengju's film was first released, it was even less popular than Fatty's. Almost no one wanted to go to the cinema to watch it, so naturally, it was impossible to spread word of mouth. Su Qingni talked about the modern free promotion, which won high praise from Ji Gaohan. Ji Gaohan immediately used the company's money to buy a lot of movie tickets and had people distribute them to passers-by on the street. If you don't take advantage of a bargain, you're a fool. Although the theme of the movie is a martial arts movie that is not very popular nowadays, it's free, so there's nothing to lose by watching it. So some audiences came in, and then they saw that this movie is quite good. The fighting is so exciting, and the light work is so beautiful. So, the word of mouth of the movie spread. Many young people ran into the cinema to watch it once, twice, and 3 times. Such movies are the most attractive to them. Who didn't have a dream of being a knight when they were young? So the word of mouth of the movie got better and better, and the box office got higher and higher, which made Jin Shingyun cry and laugh. In the end, he figured it out. He couldn't stop cooperating with Ji Gaohan's company in the future. Making money is the most important thing. Ghosts and the like, just get used to it. Fan Pengzhu's movie performed better than Fatty's movie, which made Fatty very dissatisfied, and he worked harder to make his next movie. Fan Pengzhu thought it was great to let ghosts act in movies, and many difficult actions could be easily done. In this way, can he challenge the fairy tale movie? Fan Pengzhu likes fairy tales, and his favorite is Swordsman of Shushan by Huan's Hulaozi. He hopes to make this novel into a movie one day. In the past, due to technical limitations, Fan Pengzhu is afraid that he would not be able to make a good movie. Now with the skills of ghosts, he believes that he can make a good fairy tale movie. Fan Pengzhu has already conceived the script in his mind. Swordsman of Shushan is too long, and there are many characters in it. Each of them can be the protagonist. Fan Pengzhu decided to make Swordsman of Shushan into a series of movies, which is enough for him to shoot for many years. Fan Pengzhu heard that a director named Yu was interested in making Swordsman of Shushan into a movie. This person did not have ghosts to help him, so he decided to go to the United States to find a special effects company to help. Haha, he must see whether his original native drama is better or the weird drama made by the foreigners after the intervention. Fan Pengzhu was full of fighting spirit, and so were the people from other film companies. They saw that the martial arts films shot by Fan Pengzhu were popular, so they thought that the era of martial arts films was coming again, and they followed a trend and shot a lot of martial arts films. As a result, it is conceivable that these companies lost a lot of money. Especially the Xiao and Zhu families, they have many directors and have shot a lot of martial arts films. As a result, all of them lost money, and the two companies lost a lot of money. The two companies therefore hated the company that made them lose money, and began to suppress Su Qingni's company these days, and even found people in the underworld to deal with Su Qingni's company. However, all their means were blocked by Ji Gaohan. As for those people in the underworld, these people have lives on their hands. As long as their enemies are summoned and let their enemies go to those people to chat in the middle of the night, those people in the underworld will not have the heart to cause trouble for Su Qingni's company. Gradually, everyone in the circle knew that Su Qingni's film company was extraordinary. Fan Pengzhu was already dead, but there were still a steady stream of works being released. Many faces in the movie looked familiar. After thinking carefully, damn, wasn't that the dead so-and-so? Then they found out that the real boss of the company was a master who ran a candle shop. No one dared to take action against Su Qingni's company anymore. The company was developing steadily, with more and more employees, all introduced by old employees. Su Qingni inspected these new employees and kept the ones she thought were good. If there were any bad records, she would send them directly to the underworld. Fatty looked at the increasing number of employees with a calm face. He was used to it. Fatty's regular team was also used to it. At first they were still very scared, but money could give people courage. The company paid them 3 times what other crews paid them. For the money, they stayed even though they were afraid. However, after a long time, they came into contact with the ghosts more and found that ghosts were no different from when they were alive. Except for not eating and sleeping, they kept all the habits they had when they were alive. They would not harm people. Therefore, these staff members were no longer afraid and became good friends with their ghost colleagues. During the Chinese New Year, they would pay out of their own pockets to buy some incense, candles and paper money as gifts for their ghost colleagues. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 937 Entertainment Verse 28. In the blink of an eye, more than a decade has passed. Su Qingni's company, Pingxin Film Company, has become one of the largest film companies in Hong Kong, and is one of the 4 giants along with Xiao, Zhu and Jin. The fact that ghosts are actors has become an unspoken secret among the people in this city. Many people watch the movies of Pingxin Film Company specifically, wanting to get close to ghost actors. Su Qingni has already graduated from college, and she still lives by guarding the incense and candle shop. She looks like a salted fish, and occasionally goes to the company to hang out. Zhang Jingxin, on the other hand, doesn't come to the shop often. He thinks acting is very interesting, so he often goes to various crews and makes a cameo in movies. After more than a decade, he has become familiar to the audience. Sister. A 15 or 16-year-old boy walked into the shop with a school bag. "You're back." Su Qingni greeted without raising her head, still looking down at the book. This book is a science fiction adventure story written by a science fiction novelist. Although there is no logic in many places, it must be said that the imagination is very rich and the story is very exciting. "Yes," the boy responded, then put down his school bag obediently, sat down at the table and started to do his homework and review his lessons. After finishing all this, he still had to practice drawing talismans. He was so busy every day that he didn't have enough time. There was no spare time for him to have a second year of junior high school. Although he was already at the age where he could have a second year of junior high school. This child was Zhang Xiangjun, the eldest son of Zhang Jingxin and Shi Zhenzhen. Zhang Jingxin and Shi Zhenzhen had 3 children, 2 sons and 1 daughter. The daughter and the youngest son had no talent for metaphysics. Only Zhang Xiangjun had talent and was interested in this aspect. Su Qingni began to teach Zhang Xiangjun. After she left, Zhang Xiangjun could also take over the incense and candle shop. Zhang Xiangjun spent more time with Su Qingni than with his parents, and was very close to Su Qingni. For him, what his parents said was not as effective as what this sister said. Su Qingni had brought up many children in different worlds, so it was easy for her to bring up children, and it was even easier for her to teach children. The young boy was taught very well by Su Qingni, and he was very good. He has a generous and gentle personality, respects his parents and siblings, has a long-term vision, and disdains his younger brothers and sisters fighting for the family's property. Zhang Jingxin bought real estate as soon as he had money, and later bought land when he had more money. Over the past 10 years, he has become one of the largest landlords in Gangcheng. Later, Shi Zhenzhen simply opened a real estate company to develop these lands and real estate. The company grew bigger and bigger, and the Zhang family's assets also increased. They are now a famous rich man in Gangcheng. Zhang Xiangjun has never thought about inheriting Shi Zhenzhen's real estate company and the land under his father's name. He knows that with his own ability, he will earn more than his parents in the future. He believes in his ability. In terms of Zuiman magic, the young boy has already mastered it, and even has several practical operation experiences. Now it's just that the power in his body is still shallow, and it needs to be accumulated day by day. In terms of learning, the young boy is also a top student. When Su Qingni taught the young boy Zuiman knowledge, he told him not to ignore science. Science is the mainstream and foundation of this world. If he gives up science for metaphysics, he will be abandoned by this society sooner or later. Although the young boy is only 15 years old, he is now in his last year of middle school and will take the college entrance examination in a few months. The young boy is very interested in physics. He thinks that many things in physics are similar to metaphysics. The young boy decided to study physics well in the future. He is a man with plans. He will first study at a university in Hong Kong for 2 years, and then go abroad to a famous foreign university for further studies. In the future, he will become a physicist and a part-time university professor. What a respectable profession. After reading a story, Su Qingni looked up at the boy who was studying hard and smiled. Although the boy's face was still immature, he was already able to take responsibility. She has been in this city for a long time, and it's time to go somewhere else. The boy raised his head and he had finished his homework. Looking at the wall clock, it was time for dinner. "Sister, it's time for dinner," Zhang Xiangjun reminded Su Qingni. "Well, let's go." Su Qingni stood up. Since the tea restaurant opened on this street, Su Qingni has become more and more lazy to cook. Most of the 3 meals are solved in tea restaurants and Uncle Jin's noodle shop. The two came to Uncle Jin's noodle shop, and the noodle shop's business is still very good. In recent years, Uncle Jin has grown old and rarely makes noodles himself. His son took over his job. Although his skills are a little worse, he has gradually improved over the years. The neighbors are very fond of noodle shops, so even if a tea restaurant is open nearby, it does not affect the business of noodle shops too much. Seeing Su Qingni and the two, Aunt Jin, who is now only responsible for collecting money, smiled and personally led the two to sit at a table. Without asking what they want, she went into the kitchen to help them order food. She is very familiar with their tastes. There is a large TV next to the cash register. It is now turned on. The TV series in it has ended and is now broadcasting the news. How much news is there in such a city? It's just some trivial matters or celebrity gossips, which are used by reporters to make articles. Su Qingni usually doesn't watch such news. But today, she was attracted by a piece of news on TV. The news content is that a person committed suicide, and it was a star. The star jumped from a tall building and ended his relatively young life. Su Qingni recognized this star, in addition to his fame, good singing and better acting skills, and because this star was a customer of the incense and candle shop. Not only did he buy more than 10 amulets in one go, but he also introduced many of his friends and relatives to the shop to buy amulets. Su Qingni remembered the man's gentle and bright smile when she first met him. What on earth did this man go through that made such a cheerful person choose to end his life himself? He was less than 40 years old. People around were talking about the death of this star, and there were many who spoke ill of him. Su Qingni remembered that during this period of time, the tabloids had published a lot of black materials about the man, and many people who did not know the truth took the black materials seriously. Rumors can kill a person, and this has been the case since ancient times. Yao Xiaoti's death was also forced by rumors. Now there is one more. Sister, Tao Ruai is dead. The young boy said in shock. Su Qingni said calmly, I saw it. The young boy leaned close to Su Qingni's ear and whispered, should we invite Tao Ruai to join Pingxin Film Company? Chapter 938 Entertainment Verse 29. Should we invite Tao Ruai to join Pingxin Film Company? Su Qingni twitched her lips. This is a good idea. But Tao Ruai is not Yao Xiaoti. Who knows if he is obsessed with acting and is willing to stay in the world? What if he is disappointed with this world and wants to forget about this life and drink mangpo soup to start over? Su Qingni said, you can go and ask in person. Zhang Xianzhen's eyes lit up, then I will ask tonight. The young boy is a fan of Tao Ruai and likes the songs and movies Tao Ruai sings very much. Thinking of being able to meet his idol, the boy is not as sad as other fans. Of course, he is uncomfortable in his heart. After all, ghosts are different from people. The boy hopes that everyone will respect life and not give up their lives easily. Having seen too many ghosts and knowing more about the world after death, the boy is more in awe of life. I'll let Sister Manly go with me. The young boy knows the identity of every ghost in the company. He knows the cause of Yao Xiaoti's death, thinking that Tao Ruai and Yao Xiaoti have many similarities. They should be able to talk, right? So after dinner, the young boy went to Pingxin Film Company to find Yao Xiaoti. Su Qingni thought about it and followed the boy. The two came to Pingxin Film Company, and the employees in the company were also discussing Tao Ruai's affairs. They were wondering if Tao Ruai would become their colleague. The boy stepped forward and said that he would go and invite people. Other employees said they wanted to go, but were rejected by the young boy. What if so many of you go together and scare people away? The young boy named Yao Xiaoti. Yao Xiaoti hurried to the boy. She really wanted to meet this star who had a similar experience to her. A big river runs across the entire city. The lights on both sides of the river are brilliant, reflecting on the surface of the river, turning the surface of the river into a colorful light band, which is very beautiful. A tall shadow stood on the shore and stared into the distance in a trance. No one noticed him, and those people couldn't see him. He thought that everything would be over after death, but he forgot that after death, people would become ghosts, still have memories and thoughts from their previous lives, and still be confused by emotions and things from their previous lives, and could not get real relief. So, why did he want to die? However, there was one good thing about becoming a ghost, that is, no one would see him anymore, and he could go out with confidence and boldness in his true appearance, and he would no longer be chased by paparazzi or pointed at by others. He could walk on the street openly. Well, he still had to avoid the sun. It was not openly, after all, he could only go wherever he wanted at night. Thinking of this, the man smiled bitterly. He regretted it. Mr. Tao. The man smiled bitterly when he heard someone calling Mr. Tao from behind. It was definitely not for him, and no one saw him. Mr. Tao. This time the voice sounded beside his ear. Tao Ruai turned his head sharply in surprise and looked to his left, and saw a boy of 15 or 16 years old had walked to his side, looking at him and calling him Mr. Tao. Are you calling me? Can you see me? Tao Ruai asked in surprise. The boy nodded and introduced himself. My name is Zhang Xianzhen. My family has a company called Pingxin Film Company. Well, I would like to invite you to work in our company. Pingxin Film? This film company is very famous in the circle. It is said that most of the employees in it are ghosts. Tao Ruai has never cooperated with this film company. After all, this company only uses its own employees to shoot movies. Therefore, Tao Ruai has not seen how this company shoots movies with his own eyes, so he doesn't believe the rumors. He has seen the employees of Pingxin Film Company. Each of them has a ruddy face and is down to earth, without any characteristics of ghosts. Tao Ruai just thought it was a rumor made by others who were jealous of Pingxin Company. After all, Pingxin Company's achievements in recent years have been too dazzling and blocked the way for many people. But now Tao Ruai has to believe the rumor. People from Pingxin Company came to him to recruit him. You know, he is a ghost now. Sorry, I can't accept your invitation. Tao Ruai rejected Zhang Xiangjin. He smiled bitterly. I don't want to act anymore. I don't want to appear in front of people anymore. You're lying. A female voice interrupted. You have an unparalleled passion for acting and singing. I see that you love acting. You love acting very much? You, like me, are born to perform. I can't let go of acting, and neither can you. No. Tao Ruai retorted loudly. I don't want to act anymore. I hate acting. No, you like it. The female voice said louder than his. You are not me. How do you know what I think? Because I am the same person as you, and my experience is the same as yours. The woman came over from the other side. Tao Ruai saw her face clearly and recognized her. She is Yao Manli, a woman born to act, who has won the title of Best Actress for several times. Because she looks very much like the Best Actress Yao Xiaodi from more than 40 years ago, many people speculate that she is Yao Xiaodi herself, also a ghost. Now she said such words, saying that her experience is the same as hers. If he committed suicide because he couldn't stand the slander, then she also. So, she really is. Are you really Yao Xiaodi? Tao Ruai asked. Yes. Yao Xiaodi had come to Tao Ruai's side. Do you want to talk to me? Zhang Xiangjin walked away tactfully, leaving the space for Yao Xiaodi and Tao Ruai. I don't know what Yao Xiaodi and Tao Ruai said. Anyway, Tao Ruai finally agreed to join Pingxin Film Company. The next day, when Fatty was lamenting the loss of a great actor with superb acting skills in the company, he saw Tao Ruai following Yao Xiaodi into the company. Fuck. Fatty jumped up from the chair, and then fell to the ground with a thud. The employees were so ashamed to watch. It was Fan Pengzhu who walked to Fatty and pulled him up from the ground. I said, why are you making such a fuss? Isn't it normal for Tao Ruai to come to our company? Fatty haha, normal shit. There is no normal person in this company except him, Fatty. 2 months later, when Tao Ruai's fans were still grieving over the death of their idol, a movie that was advertised as Tao Ruai's latest work was released. All the fans were stunned. What? Did the idol come back to life? Exclamation mark. The tabloid reporters who had slandered Tao Ruai before were trembling in fear, hoping that Tao Ruai would not cause trouble for them. They did not mean to slander Tao Ruai, they just wanted to make a living. Who knew that a person could continue his acting career after his death? Is this entertainment to death? Exclamation mark. Chapter 939, The Children of the Domineering Boss's Little Wife. This time when I returned to the Lich world, I found that another ancestor witch had awakened. It was Rushao. Su Qingni was very happy. Her efforts had paid off, and this feeling was as refreshing as eating a whole can of ice cream in the summer. Some of the affairs of the underworld and the witch clan can be shared out. This is what makes Su Qingni most satisfied. After 50 years of recuperation in the Lich world, Su Qingni set out again. I am the dividing line after crossing. The first thing after crossing and possessing is not to receive memories, but to divide a little merit to the pure child soul around me, and arrange for the child to reincarnate again. This time, the child will have responsible parents who take good care of their children, and will not let the child die at a young age due to neglect of parental care. After doing all this, Su Qingni accepted the memory. This time Su Qingni still crossed over as a child younger than in the previous life. The child now is only 3 years old, a boy. There is a mother who is said to love her children but acts rashly and does not know how to take care of them. There is a twin sister who keeps whispering in the original body's ears. There is also an Uncle Chu who is said to be a suitor of his mother, who is very good to him and his sister, but immediately throws them aside when he sees their mother. The child is still ignorant, but he has a very good memory. Many details are remembered in his head. Su Qingni retrieved his memory at this time and knew the child's life experience and the people around him. The child's mother is called Ding Yulin, an unmarried mother. Su Qingni learned from the twin sister Ding Li that this world is like an old romance novel, the main content of which is the overbearing Prince Cinderella and the little wife running away with a ball. Ding Yulin is a good girl from a poor family but strong and unyielding, who will not succumb to fate, but her personality is a little confused. This little shortcoming is cute in front of people who love her, but it is magnified many times by people who don't like her, thinking that she is incompetent and will only hinder others. Ding Yulin is the heroine of this romantic world, so naturally there are male protagonists and male supporting roles to love her. The male protagonists and male supporting roles are all rich and high-quality men. Under normal circumstances, ordinary girls like Ding Yulin will not have any intersection with them. But who can blame her for having the aura of the heroine? So Ding Yulin and the male protagonist named Mu Changfeng met, misunderstood, resolved misunderstandings, and liked each other from time to time, staging a romantic love story between a domineering president and Cinderella. During this period, there was a gentle male supporting role Chu Xiangkuo who was infatuated with Ding Yulin. Even though Ding Yulin had chosen Mu Changfeng, Chu Xiangkuo still did not change his infatuation and silently guarded Ding Yulin. Then the vicious female supporting role appeared, causing all kinds of misunderstandings between the male protagonist and the female protagonist. The female protagonist Ding Yulin was hurt by the male protagonist Mu Changfeng, and she ran to the male supporting role Chu Xiangkuo for help in a sad mood. With the help of Chu Xiangkuo, she went abroad. After arriving abroad, Ding Yulin found that she was pregnant and gave birth to a pair of twins. The above is what the original body heard from Ding Li. Ding Li thought that the original owner was a child who was defenseless against him and told him everything. Although the original owner could not understand her words, he wrote them down. Su Qingni learned from the original owner's memory that the twin sister was a book traveler. Originally, Ding Yulin gave birth to only one child, the original owner. The original owner was lively, cute and very smart, and was a strong assist for the heroine. The heroine and the hero were able to be together in the later part of the novel, all because of the original owner's promotion. After Ding Li came through, Ding Yulin gave birth to twins. Ding Li got information from the conversation between Ding Yulin and Chu Xiangkuo, and was very excited when she knew that she had traveled to a romance novel she had read. She liked the hero very much when she was reading the book. Although she can't compete with the heroine for the hero now, it's not bad to be the hero's daughter, so that she can enjoy the hero's love for her all her life. Ding Li liked the original owner child when she read the novel, but now she has become the child of the male and female protagonists. Ding Li doesn't like the original owner who has become her younger brother. The original owner was a real child. It was normal for her to cry and make trouble when she was young, so normal that it made Ding Li upset. She felt that such a younger brother was not obedient or cute at all. Especially when the female protagonist was exhausted by the original owner every time, she always hugged her and said that she was still obedient and she was her mother's intimate little cotton padded jacket. Ding Li began to look down on the original owner. She wanted to replace the original owner to promote the plot of the novel and become the most beloved child of the male and female protagonists. So in the following days, Ding Li began to compete for a favor in various ways. She behaved smart and well-behaved, like a child prodigy. She could speak at the age of half a year, recite ancient poems at the age of 1, and read books by herself at the age of 2. The female protagonist in Chu Xiangkuo had no experience in raising children, and they didn't know that Ding Li's behavior was not like a child at all. Ding Yulin was very happy that he had a genius daughter, so almost all his energy was devoted to Ding Li, and he neglected to take care of the original body. Well, even if she takes good care of the child, she won't take good care of the child. With her confused and reckless personality, the original body in the original book was able to grow up well and the male protagonist found them, all because of the original body's luck and her own intelligence. In this life, Ding Li is an adult in her heart, able to take care of herself and grow up safely. The original body is not good. The child got sick and had a fever, but Ding Yulin, the biological mother, didn't even find out. But Ding Li found it troublesome and selfishly didn't tell Ding Yulin about the original body's illness. In the end, the poor child died of illness. After flipping through the memories in the original body's mind, Su Qingni felt sick as if she had swallowed a fly. Ding Li, the selfish time traveler, made her sick. Ding Yulin, the Cinderella who boasted of her strong personality, made her sick, and Mu Changfeng, the domineering CEO, also made her sick. These three people don't have normal values. Ding Li doesn't need to be mentioned. Ding Yulin and Mu Changfeng, these two people, don't know how many people they have harmed for their so-called love. Is the vicious female supporting role really a vicious female supporting role? It was because of the two heroines. Although the vicious female supporting role hated Ding Yulin for stealing her fiancé, she only gave money to Ding Yulin to let her leave Mu Changfeng, and did not do anything to harm Ding Yulin. As a result, Ding Yulin acted as if the vicious female supporting role had done nothing wrong to her, which caused the overbearing president to misunderstand. The overbearing president not only secretly used means to bankrupt the company of the female supporting role, but also bribed gangsters to deal with the vicious female supporting role, causing the vicious female supporting role to leave the world in the most shameful way for a woman. Such people with no moral bottom line became a family, and they were relatives in this body. Su Qingni felt that it would be better for her to be an orphan. Chapter 940, The Domineering Boss's Little Wife's Children Part 2. Su Qingni was lying on the bed practicing the health-preserving method to expel the virus from her body. The child was very weak. Originally, she was staying in the mother's womb but Ding Li came through to snatch nutrition from her, causing the child to be born in poor health. In the past 3 years, she has not received good care for the child, so her health has become worse. This is also the main reason why the child died of a fever. The room was quiet and no one came to disturb her. Because of the care of Chu Xiangkuo, the infatuated male partner, Ding Yulin lived a good life abroad and lived in a spacious house, actually a high-end apartment specially bought by Chu Xiangkuo. Therefore, the mother and her 2 children each had a room. Originally, Ding Li and the original owner shared a room, but later, when Ding Li was able to speak, he strongly requested a room for himself. This satisfied Su Qingni. She didn't want to stay with Ding Li all day and see Ding Li's disgusting face. After practicing for an afternoon, Ding Yulin finally got home from get-off work. She was busy in the kitchen, and when she finished dinner, she called the 2 children to eat. Fortunately, Ding Yulin can still cook. Although the food she makes is not particularly delicious, it tastes good. Well, she conquered the stomachs of 2 men with her cooking skills. Su Qingni heard a knock on the door. It was Ding Yulin who asked her to go downstairs to eat. Fortunately, Ding Yulin at least did not forget that he still had a son. Su Qingni sat in her seat, eating silently, listening to the happy conversation between Ding Yulin and Ding Li. Her reaction did not arouse the doubts of the other 2. Her original body was a quiet child. And the reason why her original body was a quiet child was also because of the 2 people in front of her. Xiao Su, get up early tomorrow. Ding Yulin suddenly turned to talk to Su Qingni. Su Qingni responded lightly. Just now, the mother and daughter agreed to go to Disneyland to play tomorrow. Su Qingni didn't want to go in her heart, but she had to go. These 2 people are very self-righteous people and don't allow others to have other opinions. The next day, Su Qingni dressed and washed herself and went downstairs for breakfast. Children of this age have to do everything by themselves, which shows how negligent the mother is. Even if Ding Yulin has to go to work to earn money, won't she find a nanny to take care of the children? Do you really think that every child is a fake child like Ding Li? Su Qingni has been complaining since she came to this world. She feels that living with this family is a kind of state of mind cultivation. When this world ends, it is possible that her cultivation will be improved. Breakfast has been placed on the breakfast table. It is very simple, with bread slices, milk and boiled eggs. Just as they were about to eat, the doorbell rang. Ding Yulin hurried to open the door, and sure enough, it was Chu Xiangkuo, the infatuated male partner, who was outside. Su Qingni looked at Chu Xiangkuo. This is a very gentle man with glasses, gentle and elegant. This person is very good to the original body and Ding Li, and loves them as if they were his own children. Such a character setting is very likable, just like the second male in many TV dramas and novels. It belongs to the audience and readers. Unfortunately, such a male supporting role met an author with extremely uncorrected values and did not get a good ending. Instead, because the readers wanted to highlight the male protagonist's dominance, the male supporting role ended up with his family broken up. Su Qingni learned from the plot leaked by Ding Li that after the male and female protagonists reconciled, the male protagonist was upset about Chu Xiangkuo taking the female protagonist abroad to avoid him, and he was very concerned about the existence of such a love rival. Therefore, the male protagonist took action against Chu Xiangkuo. First, he caused problems in Chu Xiangkuo's company, causing the Chu family to go bankrupt, and then arranged for someone to cause a car accident, causing Chu Xiangkuo to break a leg. At this time, Chu Xiangkuo had not given up hope for life. As long as he had the courage, he could live well even if he was disabled. With his own abilities, even with Niu Changfang's suppression, he was prepared and could create a new career. However, at this time, the female protagonist Ding Yulin fell ill and was hospitalized. She needed to replace her internal organs to survive. Niu Changfang was unwilling to transplant his internal organs to Ding Yulin, and he did not want his children to be harmed. So he set his sights on Chu Xiangkuo. Niu Changfang went to find Chu Xiangkuo and said that since Chu Xiangkuo was already a waste, why not make use of it and transplant his internal organs to Ding Yulin? Chu Xiangkuo really loved Ding Yulin. Hearing what Niu Changfang said, he actually agreed and was willing to transplant his internal organs to Ding Yulin. He didn't know that Niu Changfang had bribed the black-hearted doctor who performed the operation on him, and when transplanting a small part of his internal organs, a so-called medical accident occurred, causing Chu Xiangkuo to die on the operating table. Niu Changfang lived happily with the heroine and their children, and no more annoying rivals would appear in front of him. Only his wife would occasionally miss Chu Xiangkuo, and their children, as they gradually grew older, also forgot Uncle Chu who was kind to him when they were young. Uncle Chu. Ding Li called happily. She liked Chu Xiangkuo very much, but she liked the hero more. Ding Li sympathized with Chu Xiangkuo's fate. She decided that after being recognized by the male protagonist, she would persuade him to let Chu Xiangkuo go. As for the transplant of internal organs, Chu Xiangkuo was not necessarily the one. The Mu family had a lot of money, and it was not difficult to find someone who could provide internal organs for Ding Yulin. Uncle Chu. Su Qingni called for someone. In the original owner's memory, Uncle Chu was the best person to him. Su Qingni accepted the original owner's feelings, and had the same idea as Ding Li in her heart, to save Chu Xiangkuo. She had been observing Chu Xiangkuo and watching the interaction between Chu Xiangkuo and Ding Yulin. She wanted to see how deeply Chu Xiangkuo loved Ding Yulin. Was it because of the so-called influence of the plot? Or did Chu Xiangkuo really love Ding Yulin? After a day, Su Qingni did not find any problems. Chu Xiangkuo really loved Ding Yulin. This is really troublesome. Chu Xiangkuo, the infatuated male supporting role, only has the female protagonist in his heart, and he will definitely not be happy in the future. Should I do something to help Chu Xiangkuo? Su Qingni thought of hypnosis. It should be possible to make the male supporting role forget his feelings for the female lead, right? Su Qingni pinched her chin and thought. Xiao Su, what are you thinking about? Chu Xiangkuo came over with a big ice cream cone. Seeing the little child pinching his chin in contemplation, he couldn't help laughing. Did he learn this from TV? So cute. Chu Xiangkuo reached out his hand from the bottom of his heart and pinched the child's tender face. Compared to Ding Li, who was as smart as a genius, he liked the child in front of him more. He felt that Xiao Su was more like a child. Ding Li was too smart, so smart that it made him feel creepy. Chapter 941, The Domineering Boss's Little Wife's Children. Uncle Chu, don't pinch my face, I'll drool. Su Qingni pretended to be a child holding her face to escape Chu Xiangkuo's clutches. Chu Xiangkuo was amused by his little action and handed the ice cream in his hand to Su Qingni. Eat it. This ice cream is made of 5 egg rolls, each with a different flavor of ice cream. A single egg roll and ice cream are not large, but when combined together, they are quite large. This kind of ice cream should be prepared for lovers, but Chu Xiangkuo and Ding Yulin actually bought it for a child who is only 3 or 4 years old. Aren't they afraid that the child will have diarrhea after eating it? Ding Yulin really can't be expected to be a competent mother. Thank you, Uncle Chu. Su Qingni took the ice cream and ate it in small bites. Her body is still weak now, and she can't eat too much cold food. Just tasting the taste is enough. She saw Ding Li eating ice cream happily from the corner of her eye, but she didn't remind him. You know, there is an adult woman in Ding Li's body. Ding Li was pulled away by Ding Yulin, and Chu Xiangkuo took Su Qingni's hand. The 2 women in front were very happy. When they saw a store selling beautiful trinkets, the 2 girls rushed into the store immediately. The store was doing very well, with a group of women crowding inside. Chu Xiangkuo, who originally wanted to go into the store to pay for Ding Yulin, was deterred. He pulled Su Qingni back to a safe distance and waited for Ding Yulin and the others outside the store. Su Qingni pretended to be curious and asked, Uncle Chu, why do you like my mother? Chu Xiangkuo looked down at the child who was blinking his big eyes and had an innocent face. He smiled and answered the child's question, because your mother is very good. It's normal for me to like such a beautiful woman. Su Qingni wrinkled her nose and said, you are lying. Others say that my mother is just pretty, confused and reckless, without a high education or a good family background. There are a lot of women like this. Others also say that you are so outstanding that you should be matched with an equally outstanding woman. They say my mother is not worthy of you. Who told you that? Chu Xiangkuo couldn't help but frown and got angry. Su Qingni was not afraid of Chu Xiangkuo's anger at all, and still had a look of seeking for answers. Uncle Chu, how come you like my mother when she has so many shortcomings? Chu Xiangkuo was very angry, but when he touched Su Qingni's watery eyes, his anger disappeared, and he answered Su Qingni's question, I like her, there is no need to ask why. When you like someone, you will only find her shortcomings cute. I liked your mother the first time I saw her, it's that simple. Is it that simple? Su Qingni stared into Chu Xiangkuo's eyes, wanting to see into his heart. Chu Xiangkuo was in a trance for a while, and he shook his head to wake himself up. But what did he do just now? Oh, he took Xiao Su to wait for Ding Yulin outside the door. Xiao Su pestered him to tell a story, so he told Su Qingni a fairy tale. After a day of fun in the amusement park, Ding Li returned home and had diarrhea as expected. She ate without restraint. In addition to eating up a large portion of ice cream, she also ate a lot of miscellaneous things. It would be strange if she didn't have a stomachache. Fortunately, Chu Xiangkuo had not left yet, and followed Ding Yulin to take Ding Li to the hospital in a hurry. Su Qingni was left at home. Did the two of them think of leaving one of them to take care of the remaining children? What if the remaining children had an accident without adults to watch over them? Su Qingni shook her head, returned to her room, locked the door, and began to practice. The next day, when Su Qingni woke up, she found that there was a man in the house. He looked more handsome than Chu Xiangkuo, with a domineering temperament. Is this Mu Changfeng? He came to the door so quickly. In the original book, Mu Changfeng found Ding Yulin and her son 2 years later. But there is a Ding Li in this world. Su Qingni knew that Ding Li used the pocket money Chu Xiangkuo gave her to hire a private detective, and reveal the existence of Ding Yulin and the 2 children to Mu Changfeng. Ding Li sat on Mu Changfeng's knees, and it can be seen that Mu Changfeng likes this daughter very much. Chu Xiangkuo sat opposite the father and daughter, and his face was not very good. I think anyone who raises a child as his own daughter would feel bad if he pounced on his father and abandoned him without mercy when he met his father. Chu Xiangkuo was an ungrateful person who didn't know that Ding Li used the money he gave to inform Mu Changfeng. If he knew, I wonder if he would vomit blood. Xiao Su, your father is here to see us. Go to your father and let him see you. Ding Yulin came out of the kitchen with fruits in her hands. When she saw Su Qingni, she remembered that she had a son and quickly asked Su Qingni to see Mu Changfeng. Although she valued and liked the genius daughter more, the family valued boys more, and the son was the heir. Ding Yulin's words made the 2 people who were communicating the father-daughter relationship raise their heads and look at Su Qingni. Ding Li's eyes flashed with a hint of unhappiness, while Mu Changfeng was surprised. His reaction was seen by Ding Li, and Ding Li looked at Su Qingni with an even more unfriendly look. Son, come here. Mu Changfeng waved at Su Qingni. Su Qingni walked slowly to Mu Changfeng and called him obediently, Daddy. Good girl. Mu Changfeng touched Su Qingni's head and began to ask questions. He asked Su Qingni what her name was, how she had been doing these years, how her studies were going. Su Qingni answered according to her original level, but Mu Changfeng was not satisfied with such answers. How could his daughter be so talented, but his son be so mediocre? How come you are not even half as good as your sister? The surprise on Mu Changfeng's face disappeared, and his love for his son also decreased by half. Ding Li raised the corners of his mouth obscurely. Yes, this is good. As long as she is always better than Ding Su and always suppresses Ding Su, the president father will definitely be disappointed with Ding Su and will definitely love her more. Maybe he will hand over the family company to her in the future. Ding Yulin sighed quietly at the side. Changfeng, I'm sorry for you. I didn't give birth to Xiao Su as good as Xiaoli. It's not your fault. Mu Changfeng hurriedly comforted his sweetheart. You gave me a genius daughter. I'm very happy. Can't force too much. But Xiao Su is not as smart as her sister. I must work harder in the future. Ding Yulin nodded vigorously at the side, and the two of them decided on Su Qingni's future life. Chu Xiangkuo frowned and advised the two, Xiao Su is smarter than ordinary children, there is no need to force him to work hard, right? Children should still have more fun to grow up healthily. Mu Changfang snorted coldly, you don't need to worry about my son. Chapter 942, The Domineering Boss's Little Wife's Children. Chu Xiangkuo's face became even uglier. Su Qingni glanced at him. Just because he spoke for her, she would help him too. Mu Changfang came, and Ding Yulin naturally had to follow him back to China. These days, Ding Yulin was busy dealing with these things abroad, and Mu Changfang accompanied her. And Ding Li pestered Mu Changfang to improve his favorability, so every time the three of them went in and out together, excluding Su Qingni. Mu Changfang also ignored this son like Ding Yulin. Although he still thinks that his son is the heir, his attitude towards his daughter and son is already one world apart. Ding Li was very proud of this, but Su Qingni didn't care. In just 3 days, Ding Yulin solved the problem abroad, and returned to China with her son and daughter and her domineering husband. Chu Xiangkuo was naturally sad, and Su Qingni met Chu Xiangkuo on the pretext of saying goodbye to Uncle Chu, who was good to her. Because of this incident, Mu Changfang became even more dissatisfied with Su Qingni. He began to consider changing the heir. Anyway, the beloved has returned to him, and both of them are still young and can still have children. When the younger son is born, he will focus on training the younger son and let the younger son be his heir. As for the eldest son, there should not be too many boarding schools, so that he can be sent to out of sight and out of mind. When he grows up, he can just give him some shares. Su Qingni didn't know what Mu Changfang was thinking, but she knew that Ding Li spared no effort to use herself to set off her excellence. Now Mu Changfang is very satisfied with Ding Li, but he dislikes his son more and more. Uncle Chu. Xiao Su. Chu Xiangkuo looked very decadent. After seeing Su Qingni, he showed a forced smile. Are you here to say goodbye to me? Yes. Su Qingni nodded. I have a parting gift for you. Oh? I will cherish the gift that Xiao Su gave me. By the way, what is it? Chu Xiangkuo asked. It is. Su Qingni stared into Chu Xiangkuo's eyes, a beautiful future. Su Qingni hypnotized Chu Xiangkuo. After hypnotizing Chu Xiangkuo, Su Qingni found that he was indeed influenced by the so-called plot to have feelings for Ding Yulin. Chu Xiangkuo didn't like Ding Yulin deep in his heart. He admired and liked excellent and elegant women, and he had no good feelings for Ding Yulin. I think Mu Changfang is the same, right? Su Qingni checked Mu Changfang's information and knew that he had several girlfriends before Ding Yulin, all of whom were bright and had good figures. And Ding Yulin was just a bean sprout. If it weren't for the influence of the plot, Mu Changfang wouldn't even look at Ding Yulin. Poor kid. Su Qingni hypnotized to eliminate Ding Yulin's influence on Chu Xiangkuo. In order to prevent the plot from involving Chu Xiangkuo again, Su Qingni put a little merit on Chu Xiangkuo to protect his soul so that he would not be affected by external factors. When Su Qingni and Ding Yulin left by plane, Chu Xiangkuo did not come to see them off. Ding Yulin was very disappointed and said to Mu Changfeng, Xiangkuo is angry with me. I'm really afraid that we can't even be friends in the future. Mu Changfeng comforted Ding Yulin, don't worry, Chu Xiangkuo will not give up on you as a friend. He sneered in his heart. Chu Xiangkuo has always coveted his woman, how could he give up easily? Humph, who knows if he is secretly calculating himself and Yulin. Mu Changfeng even suspected that Chu Xiangkuo was the one who pushed Ding Yulin to go abroad because of his misunderstanding of him. Chu Xiangkuo, he will never let him go. Let's start with the Chu family company. Seeing Mu Changfeng sneer, Ding Li knew that he had the intention to kill Chu Xiangkuo now. Should I stop it? Well, let's wait and see. Mu Changfeng looks a little scary. And although Mu Changfeng dotes on her now, he will not let Chu Xiangkuo go because of her words. So it's better not to stop it, lest Mu Changfeng think that she is a traitor like Ding Su, and is biased towards Chu Xiangkuo in her heart. Doesn't Ding Su, that idiot, know that he made Mu Changfeng unhappy because of his farewell to Chu Xiangkuo last time? Well, let's wait for another 2 years. She will plead for Chu Xiangkuo and save his life when her position in Mu Changfeng's heart becomes more important. Ding Li, who thinks he is kind, thinks so. Su Qingni saw the change in the expression on Ding Li's face and looked away. It's really eye-catching. It's not that Ding Li's appearance is eye-catching, but her soul is eye-catching. Her soul is really ugly, much uglier than Ding Yulin's soul. When the family returned to China, Mu Changfang threw Su Qingni into boarding kindergarten. Ding Yulin, Ding Li and Su Qingni all agreed with his approach. Ding Yulin thinks that children can develop independence by going to boarding school, but he doesn't think about what independence a 3 or 4-year-old child has. Ding Li was happy that no one was competing with her for favor, and the Mu family would belong to her alone in the future. If Su Qingni knew her thoughts, she would definitely call her a fool. Aristocratic families like the Mu family are more patriarchal than ordinary families. Even if Ding Li performed well, the Mu family's industry would not give her a daughter who married out. Even if Su Qingni was not liked by Mu Changfeng, if Mu Changfeng and Ding Yulin did not give birth to other sons, the industry would eventually be left to Su Qingni. Just because Su Qingni was a son. What's more, the book only ended after Ding Yulin recovered from his illness, so it did not write that they had other children. But the reality is that both of them are still young, and it is impossible that they would not have other children. Ding Li wanted the entire Mu family, which was absolutely a fantasy. Yes, she was excellent. But in Mu Changfeng's eyes, the better she was, the more valuable she was for marriage. In the end, her fate was to marry a younger generation of a family equivalent to the Mu family as a tool for marriage. At most, Mu Changfeng would give Ding Li the opportunity to choose which son of an aristocratic family to marry. Su Qingni was very happy to be away from the family of 3. Although it was too noisy to live with a group of children, Su Qingni could tolerate it. The conditions in the kindergarten were much better than those in the orphanage. Su Qingni originally planned to go to the orphanage by herself. After sending Su Qingni away, Mu Changfeng began to deal with the Chu family's company. The scale of the Mu family company and the Chu family company is not much different. The reason why Mu Changfeng in the book was able to bankrupt the Chu family company was because Chu Xiangkuo did not expect Mu Changfeng to deal with him and did not guard against Chu Xiangkuo. As a result, he stepped into the trap set by Chu Xiangkuo and was caught off guard by Mu Changfeng. But it's different now. Su Qingni eliminated Chu Xiangkuo's feelings for Ding Yulin. Chu Xiangkuo would not be emotional when facing Mu Changfeng, and he was wary of the goodwill shown by the Mu family company. This caused Mu Changfeng's calculations to fail. Chapter 943, The Domineering Boss's Little Wife's Children 5. Mu Changfeng smashed everything on his desk, and kicked the big chair far away. His move on Chu's company this time not only failed to bankrupt the Chu family, but also failed to steal the chicken and lost the rice, causing Mu's company to lose a lot. Those old guys on the board of directors began to point fingers at him again. Damn it. It's too damned. A trace of anger flashed in Mu Changfeng's eyes. Those old guys have lived longer, so they should waste rice and grain. And Chu Xiangkuo, since he can't deal with Chu's company, he can deal with him alone. Mu Changfeng picked up the mobile phone on the ground. Fortunately, although the screen was broken, it was still able to make calls. Mu Changfeng pressed a series of phone numbers. Life in kindergarten is very easy. This private kindergarten attaches great importance to the cultivation of children's interests. Each child has a small independent space. Children can do whatever they want in the space. As long as the requirements are reasonable, the kindergarten teachers will satisfy the children. Some children decorated their small space into a doll kingdom, and the teachers encouraged her to design and make clothes for the dolls herself. I think this child will become a designer in the future. Some children like music, and there are all kinds of musical instruments in their space, which are not expensive but not cheap either. I think this child will become a musician in the future. Some children are lively and active, so the teachers take them to play basketball and football, and these children can always find their favorite sports. Su Qingni's space is filled with some high-end toys. After all, her grade is the youngest among the children in the kindergarten. Even if she is interested in something, it is impossible for her to start learning at this time. Therefore, the teachers just let her play happily, and after another half a year, the teachers will give corresponding guidance based on their observations of the children. Su Qingni thinks this kindergarten is very good. With their training method, the students who will go out on the future will be elites in various industries. It is said that this kindergarten will also have elementary and middle schools. The children trained in this way for more than 10 years will definitely be excellent. The teachers saw that Su Qingni liked to dismantle toys, and they thought that Su Qingni was playing, so they didn't care. Anyway, the families of the children who can enter this kindergarten are very wealthy, and the fees for the kindergarten are not too much. Su Qingni can dismantle as many toys as she wants. The teachers don't know the purpose of Su Qingni dismantling toys. She used the parts removed from these toys to make a small modification, and then assembled a computer in the shape of a watch. One day, Su Qingni took out the computer and put it on her hand. The teacher just thought it was a watch bought by her parents and did not suspect it at all. Playing with this computer, Su Qingni was able to understand what was happening outside. As soon as she connected to the internet, the first news she saw was the news that Chu Xiangkuo had a car accident and was amputated and became disabled. Mu Changfang's action ability is so strong! Exclamation mark. Su Qingni couldn't help frowning. She had helped Chu Xiangkuo get rid of his so-called love for Ding Yulin. It stands to reason that he would not often appear in front of Ding Yulin, thus stimulating Mu Changfang. Why did Mu Changfang still do it to him? Is the inertia of the plot so strong? Su Qingni felt a little guilty towards Chu Xiangkuo. It was a bit of a loss for her to help someone but not help him to the end. No, she had to destroy the plot quickly, lest Chu Xiangkuo end up with his internal organs being taken out and die according to the plot on the novel. Su Qingni found evidence that Mu Changfang bribed people to attack Chu Xiangkuo. During the investigation, Su Qingni found that her cheat father was not a good person. Before Chu Xiangkuo, her father killed many people. Why did Mu's company become a one-man show of Mu Changfeng? Because those shareholders who had a say were killed by Mu Changfeng, and some people who offended Mu Changfeng in the business world were also killed. Mu Changfeng knew people in the underworld who helped him do a lot of evil things. Seeing the information she found, Su Qingni felt that she could kill her relatives for the sake of justice. After sending the information anonymously to the police uncles, Su Qingni waited in the kindergarten. Sure enough, not long after, she was taken back to the Mu family. Mu Changfang was arrested by the police uncles, and the stock of Mu's company plummeted rapidly. The people who had offended Mu Changfang in the past united to deal with Mu's company, and it didn't take long for them to divide up Mu's company. The Mu family went bankrupt, leaving only a villa for the mother and her 2 children. Unable to pay the high tuition fees for kindergarten, Su Qingni was naturally sent home. When she returned home, she saw that the 2 women were useless. Ding Yulin's strong personality has completely collapsed, and at this moment she just knows how to cry like a little white flower. The reason why she was able to be strong before was because she had a backup to help her, so that she didn't have to suffer at all, and all the troubles were solved by the backup. After Mu Changfang got into trouble, Ding Yulin immediately went to find Chu Xiangkuo. She thought Chu Xiangkuo would help and take care of her wholeheartedly as before. Who would have thought that Chu Xiangkuo had already gotten rid of Ding Yulin's influence on him, and seeing Ding Yulin was like seeing a stranger, so how could he help the wife of her enemy? Ding Yulin returned unhappy and complained about Chu Xiangkuo's ruthlessness. But she didn't think about the fact that Mu Changfang made him a cripple, and he was just full and had nothing better to do before helping Mu Changfang's wife and children. Moreover, after helping them, Ding Yulin and Ding Li didn't know how to be grateful. They were simply 2 ungrateful people. They only knew how to take. Ding Yulin has been pampered and enjoyed life since she met Mu Changfang and Chu Xiangkuo. How can she bear the hardship? Now she is asked to find a job. Can she find one? Even if she finds one, how long can she keep the job with her confused and troublemaking personality? Ding Yulin can't bear the responsibility anymore and can only cry. Ding Li is crying too. In the novel, the hero and heroine and their children live very happily. Why is it different after she came? Why did the hero go to jail? Why did the Mu family go bankrupt? How can she be a little girl if the Mu family goes bankrupt? How can she enjoy herself? No, she doesn't want to live a hard life. She wants to continue to live the life of a rich little princess. Damn, is God playing tricks on her? Could it be that all this is caused by the butterfly effect of her crossing over? Why did she cross over? Ding Li questioned God in tears, but of course he didn't get any answer. Su Qingni sat silently aside pretending to be autistic. He is a child and can't do anything. Ding Yulin, aren't you a strong single mother? Go ahead. Damn it. In the end, Ding Yulin sold the villa and bought a small 2-bedroom apartment of 80 square meters, and moved in with his son and daughter. Su Qingni and Ding Li were not satisfied. There was no independent space. Bad review. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelist. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 944, The Children of the Domineering Boss's Little Wife. Su Qingni and Ding Li were not used to it, but there was nothing they could do, so they could only endure temporarily. Ding Yulin went out early and came back late every day, but she couldn't find a job. She was used to a good life, so she looked down on her little salary. She wanted a job with high salary but not high intensity at all. But where can she get such a good job? She is not the wife of the head of a big jebel now, and there is no other president to help her clean up her mess. Fortunately, the money from selling the villa is several million, which is enough for the mother and her 2 children. If they save some money, they can use it for more than 10 years, and Ding Yulin doesn't have to go out to work. But Ding Yulin flaunts his strong personality. How can he not go out to work? Just like this, 3 years have passed. Su Qingni and Ding Li both went to elementary school. The elementary school courses are very simple for Ding Li, who graduated from university in the previous life, so she is still a genius in the eyes of everyone, with a halo on her body, and is loved by teachers and classmates. It was a moment of glory. But a person's IQ will not improve just because of rebirth. Ding Li is now just relying on the knowledge she learned in her previous life and the thinking of an adult to crush a group of children. But when the children grow up and enter high school or even college, what advantages will Ding Li still have? This person only pays attention to the scenery in front of him, but does not think about the future. He is very stupid. On this day, Su Qingni was listening to a class in the classroom. Suddenly, her head teacher appeared and called Su Qingni out. Su Qingni saw Ding Li and she followed their head teacher. The two were not in the same class, or even the same age. Su Qingni took a low-key approach. Although her grades were high, she would not skip a grade, while Ding Li skipped 2 grades in a high-profile manner and became a celebrity in the entire elementary school. Ding Li has always been proud in school, like a peacock, but now she is completely panicked because she remembered the plot. The school received a call from the hospital, and Ding Yulin fainted and was admitted to the hospital. As her only 2 relatives, Ding Li and Su Qingni must appear. Ding Li remembered the plot. In the plot, Ding Yulin was seriously ill. In the end, Mu Changfang planned Chu Xiangkuo's internal organs and transplanted them to Ding Yulin, which made Ding Yulin recover. But now, Ding Yulin is still ill. But this time, without Mu Changfang's planned transplanted internal organs, she can only lie on the hospital bed and wait for death. As for Ding Li's idea of using money to find suitable internal organs, haha, with the speed at which the 2 women spend money, how much can they have left? Ding Li did not think about starting with Chu Xiangkuo, and she also went to find Chu Xiangkuo. Without the feelings for Ding Yulin, how could Chu Xiangkuo be so saintly to donate his internal organs? Even if he was willing, his wife would not be willing. Chu Xiangkuo had been married a year ago, and his wife was a bright and generous woman. This one is a truly strong and self-reliant person with outstanding abilities. Ding Yulin is not even worthy of carrying shoes for others. Chu Xiangkuo's wife is pregnant at this time. It is a sensitive period. How could she let her husband do something risky? Chu Xiangkuo was also worried that his wife would have a miscarriage because of him, so he naturally rejected Ding Li. However, considering his past friendship with Ding Yulin and Ding Li, Chu Xiangkuo said that he would help them find suitable internal organs. However, suitable internal organs are not so easy to find. Chu Xiangkuo's internal organs are suitable for Ding Yulin, which was arranged by the author of the novel. Now this world has deviated from the plot of the novel, and the author can't intervene. In the end, Ding Yulin closed his eyes unwillingly. Ding Li and Su Qingni became orphans who are not orphans. The other members of the Mu family also hated the 2 children because Mu Changfeng had ruined the Mu family company. How could they be willing to take care of them? Mu Changfeng was in prison again, and it was even more impossible for him to take care of them. Mu Changfeng was sentenced to life imprisonment, and it was still a question whether he could get out in this life. The 2 children were sent to the welfare home. Haha, Su Qingni's idea when she first came here was actually realized. Ding Li was more or less affected in school because of her high profile, and many people disliked her. Therefore, some people used Mu Changfeng's affairs to attack Ding Li, and now they even laughed at her for being an orphan in front of Ding Li. Ding Li was very irritable because of this. She was going crazy. Why was the male and female protagonists finished after she came here? Did she come here to enjoy herself? Why did she suffer? Ding Li was shrouded in negative emotions and had no intention of managing her genius personality. The main reason was that she didn't have the energy and ability to manage it. As she got older and learned more and more knowledge, Ding Li narrowed the gap with others in her previous life, and Ding Li no longer had an advantage. Even college students couldn't answer some of the better knowledge in high school. Ding Li had been away from college for a long time, and she was even more at a loss when she encountered that knowledge. In addition, Ding Li was not a person who would endure hardships and study hard. Everyone saw how the little genius annihilated everyone, and they all sighed that Zhang Gaiong was hurt. Compared with her, Su Qingni showed a low-key academic personality. She didn't skip grades, and she moved up one grade at a time, but she was always the first in the grade in every exam, which made her classmates envious, but she didn't show off. In the eyes of the teacher, Su Qingni was a good child and a calm child. The teachers could see clearly that Su Qingni's future achievements might surpass her genius sister. In the eyes of the teachers, Ding Li was too impetuous. She enjoyed the praise of others, but she would not concentrate on studying. Although her grades looked good, her foundation was not solid. Sooner or later, this girl would suffer because of her foundation. And the fact was just as the teachers thought. After high school, Ding Li's grades got worse and worse, and she had fallen out of the top 30 in her age group. However, Su Qingni's grades had always been the first in the grade, and she even represented the school in several competitions, won honor for the school, and was admitted to the best university in the country. As for Ding Li, he was only admitted to a second-rate university. Ding Li was extremely frustrated by the reality. The novel wrote that the child of the male and female protagonists was a genius, and after crossing over, he took away his brother's title of genius, but it was only temporary. My IQ did not improve because of crossing over, so how could I compare with the really smart people? Haha, I was simply a joke. Su Qingni was packing her luggage in her room, and she had already received the college admission letter. She decided to take a spontaneous trip before going to the university to find the extremely yin place. After that, she would go directly to the university. She would never come back here. This was the small two-bedroom apartment that Ding Yulin bought. After entering high school, she and Ding Li moved out of the welfare home and returned to live here. Chapter 945, The Domineering Boss's Little Wife's Children 7. There was a knock on the door. Su Qingni waved to unlock it and said, "Come in." Ding Li walked in. "What's the matter?" Su Qingni asked. Ding Li is not as impetuous as before, and his aura has settled down a bit. Su Qingni couldn't help but raise her eyebrows. Was this an epiphany? "I'm sorry." Ding Li bowed to Su Qingni and left. If it were the original owner, she would naturally not understand why Ding Li apologized, but Su Qingni knew. She curled her lips. It seemed that Ding Li had really figured it out. I hope she can be down to earth and live a good life in the future. The next day, after Ding Li got up, he found the property certificate and a passbook of the house on the coffee table in the living room. The name on the property certificate and the passbook had been changed to her name, and the number on the passbook was the number that Ding Yulin left for them. Su Qingni didn't even ask for any money. There was also a note on it, with 4 words written on it: "Take care of yourself." Ding Li understood that she might never see Su Qingni again. Su Qingni was lucky. She found a very yin place during her travels and buried the nether stone. The vacation was about to end. She came to the city where the school was located and bought a house near the school with the money she earned. After school started, Su Qingni continued her low-key academic career until one day, she saw a veteran with amputation. The soldier was from a special force and had been playing games with drug lords at the border for many years. His leg was blown off by the drug lords. Su Qingni had a natural liking for soldiers. She thought she should do something for these soldiers who had paid for the country and the people. Su Qingni remembered the cell regeneration technology she had developed in a certain world. Su Qingni recalled the details of this technology and developed corresponding treatment equipment based on this technology. Su Qingni packed the information, used her very advanced hacking skills to hack into the network of the National Research Institute, and sent the technology over. Not to mention how shocked the staff of the institute were after receiving this information, and how they tried their best to find the person who wrote this material and the hacker who sent the information. Su Qingni's life was still calm. This life was the most ordinary of all the worlds she had traveled through. Half a year later, the country launched a device for treating disability. Su Qingni used her hacking skills to keep an eye on the research and application of regenerative technology. She secretly added the name of the veteran whose legs were blown off to the list of the first batch of trial users. The soldier's legs grew back, and 2 months later, the soldier returned to his unit again. The treatment device was launched nationwide, and disabled people entered the hospital with disbelief and expectation, and then walked out of the hospital one by one with grateful and joyful smiles. Chu Xiangkuo also stood up. Su Qingni's slight guilt towards him disappeared. After graduating from college, Su Qingni entered the government department and became a civil servant, starting from the grassroots. She still looked low-key, not vying to stand out, nor showing herself, but walking very steadily. When she left this world, Su Qingni was a cadre at the division level. Over the years, Su Qingni was occasionally touched by something or someone, and she would sort out the information of some black technology projects in her memory and send it to the National Research Institute. The country is developing better and better because of her information. Mu Changfang did not stay in prison for his whole life. 30 years later, he was released from prison. Su Qingni and Ding Li met again when they went to pick up Mu Changfang. Ding Li was already married. Her husband was an ordinary programmer, not a rich second generation. It seemed that this girl was really down to earth and would no longer dream of the so-called prince and princess. Ding Li's husband was said to have good skills, so his company rewarded him with some shares. With the dividends from these shares and his not-so-low salary, Ding Li's family lived a pretty good life. Ding Li gave birth to 2 sons and a daughter, and her husband's parents were also at home. Therefore, even though their house was not small, it was not convenient for another person to live in. And Mu Changfang's identity. Ding Li was very afraid that his parents-in-law would have a conflict with Mu Changfang. In the end, Mu Changfang went with Su Qingni. Su Qingni hired someone to take care of Mu Changfang. Mu Changfang was no longer the domineering and flamboyant person he used to be. Life in prison completely changed him. He was no longer used to life outside the prison. 2 years later, Mu Changfang died. Su Qingni and Ding Li met again. This was the last time the two of them saw each other. After that, until Su Qingni left this world, they never saw each other again. I am the dividing line of traveling back. Su Qingni came to the underworld to find Lady Pingxin, but Lady Pingxin was not there. She was drafted by Direnji. Facing Direnji's half-smile, Su Qingni rubbed her nose and followed Direnji's instructions very guilty. There are really a lot of things in the underworld, mainly because more and more worlds are connected. With more worlds, there are more things to do. Every time a new world is connected, the underworld will be busy. Direnji has been so busy these days that he has no time to play with his latest computer. As an ancient man, Direnji is worthy of being a high IQ talent. Now he is better at playing computers than others. He is still learning computer technology from Bill Gates, and has also worshipped Hawking as his teacher to learn advanced physics knowledge. This great scientist makes Direnji very respectful and admired. Su Qingni finally finished the things at hand, and she didn't dare to see Direnji. She flashed out of the underworld and went to the prehistoric world. Empress Pingxin was indeed in the prehistoric world, but she was not looking for the Queen Mother of the West to build the Great Wall. The Queen Mother of the West and several other partners had gone to travel through time, so they couldn't build the wall even if they wanted to. Empress Pingxin came to the prehistoric world to find a kind of natural treasure, which could help the remaining ancestor witches merge with their true spirits faster. The number of such natural treasures is very rare, and there are no mature ones, only some are still seedlings. It will take tens of thousands of years for these seedlings to mature. But now that Emperor Jiangsu has woken up, with his control over time and space, it will only take a blink of an eye for these seedlings to mature. After Su Qingni found Empress Pingxin, she searched for the seedlings with her, but in the end, Su Qingni found the seedlings first. After receiving the seedling, Lady Pingxin sighed, "Qingni, your current strength is already above mine." Although Lady Pingxin is a saint, she, like Lady Nuwa, became a saint through merit and virtue, and her realm is high, but her strength is really not that strong. In the past, when the witches and liches fought, why didn't Lady Nuwa, as a demon, take action? In addition to being a saint, it was also because she really couldn't beat Donghuang Taiyi. Therefore, Lady Nuwa was very relieved to leave the demons to Dijin and Taiyi. Chapter 946, The Old Farmer. After helping Dijiang and Niangniang Pingxin to make the potion that integrates the true spirit, Su Qingni reported the time travel to Niangniang Pingxin again, and then prepared to travel again. This time, Su Qingni traveled to become an old man again, not a modern old man, but an ancient old man. There are no games or square dances in his later years, only constant labor. The children of this old man are around, but it is better not to be around. The three sons and their wives all complained that the original body was partial, quarreling at home all day long, and wanted to divide the family. The old man was so angry that he fainted and left just like that. Su Qingni received the old man's memory. Old man Su was just like other old men in the village in his life. He was born and raised in the village. Except for going to the county town, he never went to any place far away. Although he had studied for 1 year, he only recognized a few words because he was not good at studying. Old man Su's ancestors still had some family property, but by the time of old man Su's generation, several brothers divided it, and each family didn't have much left. Old man Su and his wife gave birth to 4 sons and 2 daughters in total. The 2 youngest children were born relatively late, when old man Su's wife was in her 30s. At that time, the eldest son had already married, and the eldest daughter had also married. The 2 children were twins, which was a good omen, so the couple loved the 2 children very much. In particular, the youngest son, Su Qingni, was not well developed in his mother's belly and was born with a weak body, which led the couple to pay more attention to the son. As a result, this also made the other 3 sons dislike the youngest son, and even more so, under the instigation of their daughters-in-law, they felt that their parents were partial. Old man Su and his wife did favor the youngest son, but so what? People's hearts are biased, not to mention that the youngest son is in poor health, so what's wrong with them taking care of the youngest son more? Therefore, the youngest son was in poor health, and the couple did not let the youngest son do heavy work and did not let him go to the fields to farm. This made the 3 older sons, who followed their father to the fields at the age of 11 or 12, feel unbalanced. The conflict was triggered because the couple sent the youngest son to school. The eldest son exploded immediately. You know, studying is very expensive, and the family is not rich, so how can there be so much money for one person to study? Even if they can provide education for others, why not provide education for his son? His son is the same age as Su Qingni, and he looks much smarter than Su Qingni. But old man Su is the head of the family. He wants to provide education for his younger son instead of his older grandson, and there is nothing others can do. Only the eldest son's family is resentful of this, and they are even more dissatisfied with old man Su and his wife and Su Qingni. In the end, Su Qingni is not a good student. Like his father, he only went to school for 1 year and then stopped studying. Others feel better because they don't have to spend more money to support Su Qingni's studies. However, old man Su and his wife still didn't let Su Qingni do heavy work, so Su Qingni wandered around the village all day long. It didn't take long for the village to spread rumors that Su Qingni was a gangster. These rumors were spread by the 3 daughters-in-law of the Su family. They looked down on Su Qingni, their brother-in-law, and said bad things about Su Qingni to ruin his reputation. When the old man Su and his wife found out, they were furious. They severely taught their 3 daughters-in-law lesson and didn't give them food for 2 days. The 3 daughters-in-law hated the couple and kept whispering in the ears of their 3 sons, causing the 3 sons to become increasingly alienated from the old man Su and his wife. Now that the old man Su's wife has died and the funeral has just been held, the 3 sons propose to separate the family on the grounds that there is no mother to manage the whole family. The 3 families united to force the old man Su, and the old man Su fainted from anger. When Su Qingni woke up, only her youngest daughter Qingni and youngest son Su Qingni were around her, and both of them had red eyes. They were not very old, only 12 or 13 years old, but they had experienced a series of things such as the death of their mother, their brother and sister-in-law forcing their father to separate the family, and their father falling into coma. The 2 children must have been scared. Dad? Seeing Su Qingni open her eyes, the 2 children both sobbed. Su Qingni raised her hand and touched their heads, comforting the 2 children. Don't worry, Daddy won't die. Daddy will still see Qingni get married, Qingni get married, and my eldest grandson and grandson are born. Dad? The 2 children cried even louder. In this short period of time, they were so scared. Mom died. What if Daddy died too? What would they do in the future? Judging from the performance of the brother and sister-in-law today, they will definitely kick them out of the house after Daddy dies. Su Qingni patted their backs and comforted them, letting the 2 children cry and vent all the fear in their hearts. Finally, The two children stopped crying, and Su Qingni said, "Say, go call your eldest uncle, second uncle and village chief uncle." "Dad?" Su Sihei's eyes widened in shock. He knew what Su Qingni was going to do just by Su Qingni's words. Although this child is not good at studying, he is very smart. "Go ahead." Su Qingni patted Su Sihei on the shoulder. "Your three brothers don't consider me their father anymore. Why do I keep them at home? Are you going to make yourself angry?" "Dad, don't be sad. I will honor you." Su Sihei promised Su Qingni, "I will find a way to make money and let Dad live a good life in the future." "Dad, I will honor you too." Qingni followed, "I will give you all the money I earned from embroidery." "Okay." Su Qingni replied with a kind smile on her face. Su Sihei ran out to find someone. Su Qingni got up and sat down in the main hall, asking Su Qingni to call the three sons and their families over. The three sons and daughters-in-law heard from Su Qingni that Su Qingni agreed to split the family, and they all ran over, making their uncles and the village chief frown with excitement. They didn't know that they had caused dissatisfaction among these people, and these people would not help them conceal it. Soon their reputation of being unfilial would spread throughout the village. But I guess they didn't care. How much is reputation worth? It was still more practical to get benefits after the division of the family. Anyway, a bad reputation would not affect them. There were no scholars in their family. Su Qingni asked the original eldest brother and the second brother and the village chief to sit at the top seat, and then began to talk about the division of the family. Su Qingni was very fair. She divided all the family property and land into 4 parts. Each of the 3 sons took 1 part, and she took the remaining part. Although it was easy to make money with her ability, if she didn't take a part, others would find it strange. "What about the house?" The eldest son's wife, Zhao, shouted. "Dad is going to leave the house to the 4th son." Su Qingni glanced at Zhao lightly, and then looked at the cheap eldest son. "Do you want a house?" Chapter 947, The Old Farmer Part 2. "Do you want a house?" Su Qingni asked her adopted son. Her tone was not clear. Although Su Dashan was dissatisfied with his father's partiality, he still felt guilty in front of his father, and only whispered, "Dad, we have many children. Well, I will take care of you in the future." Su Qingni chuckled, "I can't count on you." Now the old father is angry to death. In the future, the old father can no longer work and can only eat white rice. Who knows if they will despise the old father and poison him with a bag of rat poison. Su Dashan hurriedly shouted, "Dad!" Su Qingni ignored him. Su Sanchi and their wives were anxious, and they all attacked the eldest couple. "Brother, you have many children, but my family doesn't have many children." "Brother, they are all my children, why should the house be given to you?" The 6 people quarreled like black chicken eyes, and Su Qingni just sat aside and watched the show calmly. Old Third. The village chief and the 2 brothers of the original body looked at Su Qingni worriedly. Su Qingni spoke to comfort the 3 of them. "Brother Huzi, eldest brother, and second brother, I'm fine. I will just treat these 3 sons as nothing. I won't be angry for them anymore. It's not worth it for them." "What about your house?" "I don't think they will give up until they get it," asked the village chief. Su Qingni said, "Then give it to them and let them fight for it. Whoever gets it will own it. I don't want to live in this house anymore. I'll move out and live in peace." Uncle Su said, "Then you and Sihei Qingni can live in my house. I still have an empty house." Su Qingni shook her head. "Your grandson is getting married soon. That empty room is his wedding room, right? How can I occupy it?" Uncle Su said, "Then live in my house." Su Qingni still shook her head. "I have thought of a place to live." "Where?" Uncle Su asked. "It can't be there, right?" asked the village chief in surprise. Su Qingni nodded. "That's it." The faces of the village chief's uncles Su Da and Suer were pale. The place Su Qingni mentioned was a famous haunted house nearby. This house is not in the village, but at the foot of the mountain outside the village. It is no smaller than the Su families, and it is all made of stone, with better quality. There must be too few people who covet such a house when it is empty, but why has no one occupied it and moved in? This house was built by an outsider. 10 years ago, a couple came to their village with a baby and built a house at the foot of the mountain, which was considered to be a home in the village. The man in this family is a hunter. He looks good. Every time he goes into the mountains, he can hunt a lot of prey. He once hunted a tiger and exchanged it for a lot of silver. The family's life is naturally very good, and many people in the village envy them. However, they have the life to make money but not the life to spend it. Just one night 8 years ago, a fire suddenly broke out in this family, burning the family alive at home. The villagers helped their family collect the bodies and handle the funeral, and someone wanted to occupy the house. However, at night, strange sounds came from the house, as if someone was crying. Everyone was frightened, and many people gave up their desire for the house, but there were also those who didn't believe in it and ran into the house to live by themselves. As a result, everyone saw the body of the man thrown outside the gate the next day. Since then, the rumor that the house was haunted has spread, and no one dared to move into the house again. Third brother, are you crazy? That's a haunted house. Uncle Su said angrily. I'm not crazy. Su Qingni shook her head. I've thought about it. Tomorrow I will find a Taoist priest to exorcise the ghosts in the haunted house, and then move in. The 3 village heads were stunned. Oh, this operation is good. Why didn't they think of it before? A little girl about 10 years old stood aside. She was Dong Su, the youngest daughter of Su Laor. Her eyes were very flexible and she was very opinionated. The other brothers and sisters focused on their parents and cared about the final ownership of the house. But this girl's attention has always been on her grandfather. It's not because she cares about her grandfather, but because she thinks the key to dividing the family and the house is still on her grandfather. Dong Su's face changed when she heard that Su Qingni was going to move out and live in the haunted house. As she grew up under the red flag in her previous life, she believed in the existence of ghosts. Therefore, she explored the haunted house once after coming to this world and discovered the secret of the haunted house. Since then, she has regarded the haunted house as her secret base. Unexpectedly, she was just secretly instigating her parents to join forces with her uncle, third uncle and 2 aunts to split up the family, and her secret base would become someone else's. Dong Su was so depressed. There were no ghosts in the haunted house, and her grandfather would definitely move in, and she would never be able to go to the secret base again. But forget it, it's called a secret base, but it's just an abandoned house. The real secrets in it have been obtained by her, and nothing else is left. Dong Su thought so, and she was no longer depressed. She began to imagine how to make her family rich after the separation and live a good life in the future. Su Qingni glanced at Dong Su. This little girl is not simple. She should be the real culprit of the separation. Wait until the evening to interrogate this little girl. She is said to be a young girl, but who knows if she is an old lady in her 40s or 50s. Have you quarreled enough? Su Qingni said. As the head of the family, Su Qingni still has some deterrent power over her sons and daughters-in-law. The 6 of them stopped quarreling and looked at Su Qingni. Su Qingni said coldly, if you want to quarrel, wait until I move out. Dad? The 3 sons said in surprise. Su Qingni snorted, don't you want the house? I will leave the house to you when I go out. You should be happy. Dad, we don't want you to move out. Su Dashan said hurriedly, and Su and Su Sanchi nodded repeatedly on the side. Su Qingni sneered, don't you want to move out? Seeing that you are thinking about the house all day long, maybe one day you think I am an eyesore and want to poison me with a bag of rat poison. Dad, we haven't thought about it. This was too poisonous, and the 3 brothers and their 3 daughters-in-law were so scared that they knelt on the ground. Although their quarrel over the separation seemed a bit unfilial, it did not touch the bottom line of this society. But if Su Qingni's words were to spread, and others really mistakenly thought that they were going to poison their own father with rat poison, they would be accused of being unfilial. Su Qingni said coldly, whether you have thought about it or not, I will no longer care. After the separation, you and I are no longer a family. Whether you are rich or poor in the future has nothing to do with me. I have decided to move out. This house will be left to the 3 of you, and you can divide it however you want. Okay, the 3 elders and I are tired. You should quickly sign the separation documents, take the money you are given and get out. I want to rest. Chapter 948, Farmer Old Man 3. After sending the village chief and the 2 older brothers out, Su Qingni returned to the house. The 3 older sons and their families were no longer in the main room, but took their share of the property back to their own rooms to clean up. Only the youngest son and daughter were in the main room, and both looked at Su Qingni with fear and worry. Su Qingni walked forward, touched the 2 people's heads, and comforted them. Don't worry, Dad will take good care of you. Su Qingni whispered, Dad, are we really going to move out? Su Qingni hummed, do you want to continue living with your 3 brothers and sisters-in-law? The 2 children shook their heads in unison. They didn't want to at all. The brother and sister-in-law didn't like them, and they didn't like the brother and sister-in-law either. Su Qingni said, so we moved out and ignored them in the future. Out of sight, out of mind. The two children nodded in unison, with less fear in their eyes and a hint of expectation. Go back and pack your things. Su Qingni told the two children, after you pack, come to my room. Yes. Su Qingni returned to her room, sat cross-legged on her bed, and began to practice health-preserving exercises. Although her original body was old and worked hard all year round, and looked old, her physical health was actually better than the people she had met in several worlds, and better than the old men in modern society in their previous lives. This is the benefit of working more. Practicing health-preserving exercises is easy for Su Qingni, and she can practice in any posture. The reason why she made such a correct posture for the two children to see. After packing their things, the two children came to Su Qingni's room and were surprised to see their father sitting cross-legged. Only monks and Taoists would sit like this, right? What's wrong with Dad? Just as they were confused, they suddenly saw their father's face turn red. They were shocked and thought their father was sick, but they saw their father exhale a long white breath. The white breath was about 1 foot long, which was not something ordinary people could do. After exhaling this breath, his father's face returned to normal. Dad? The two rubbed their eyes in surprise, then stepped forward, one of them holding Su Qingni's arm, and asked worriedly, Dad, are you okay? What happened just now? Dad is fine. Su Qingni said, sit down, Dad has something to tell you. The two children sat down beside Su Qingni obediently. Su Qingni thought for a while and began to tell the two children a story. When Dad was still a child, he once met an old beggar. It was a very unconventional story, full of mistakes and omissions, and only a young boy or girl with little experience would believe it. Dad practiced it at first, but he failed to develop the sense of ki once or twice, and he didn't have patience, so he stopped practicing. Decades have passed. Until yesterday, Dad was pissed off by your brother and sister-in-law, and somehow he remembered the method of practice again. I remember that the old beggar said that this method is called health-preserving exercise, which means to recuperate the body. After practicing, the body will become healthy. I thought you were still young and needed the care of your father, and you couldn't do without a healthy body, so I started practicing just now. I didn't expect that I would get it this time. Not only did I feel the sense of ki, but I also developed internal ki. The two children opened their mouths wide. Why did they feel that their father was talking nonsense? But their father's performance just now. The two children's eyes lit up at once. Dad, if you practice this health-preserving exercise, can you live 100 years? Su Qingni asked. Su Qingni smiled, it should be possible. Dad, can I learn it? Su Qingni asked. He has always been very concerned about his body. His body is a burden to his father and sister. He hopes that his body will become healthy so that he can work in the fields and take care of his father and sister. Su Qingni nodded, of course, you and Qingni should learn. Especially you know your body well, so you have to work harder to practice health-preserving exercises. Su Qingni nodded vigorously. Su Qingni asked Su Qingni to sit a little further away and asked Su Qingni to sit cross-legged beside her. She turned around and used the internal force she had just cultivated to let it enter Su Qingni's body. Su Qingni only felt a warm airflow flowing in his body, which was very comfortable, and he couldn't help but want to moan. Su Qingni's voice came into her ears, remember the root of this airflow. It will be up to you to operate this airflow in the future. Su Qingni quickly locked his mind and did what Su Qingni said. This child is really smart. Apart from studying, other things are not difficult for him. He remembered the root of the exercise very clearly without missing anything. Su Qingni let the internal force run through Su Qingni's body for a cycle, then left a trace of internal force in his body, and asked the boy to go aside to practice on his own. She called Su Qingni to her side and did the same thing. The two children were very curious about the internal force for the first time, and practiced hard. Su Qingni did not disturb them. She sat on the other side and continued to practice. The father and his two sons stayed in the room, regardless of what the people in the other 3 rooms did. At the second watch, Su Qingni came to Dongsu's room quietly. Dongmi lived in the same room with her 2 cousins. Su Qingni did not wake up the other 2 granddaughters, but only held Dongsu under her arm and took her out of the Su family. When they arrived at an open place, Su Qingni put the person down, pushed Dongsu awake, and hypnotized her while her Qi was not fully awake. Sure enough, this Dongsu came from modern society. This time the separation was secretly urged by Dongsu. Dongsu looked down on everyone in the Su family. If Su and his wife were not her biological parents, and she was still young, she would not even want to recognize them. What Dongsu looked down on the most was Su Qingni, the fourth uncle who was idle and supported by the whole family. She could not get rid of Su, the biological parents of her original body, but she could still get rid of the three brothers of Su Dashan. She was not willing to work hard to make money for Su Qingni and others, and she was not willing to let others take advantage. Dongsu had already thought of an idea to make money, and was waiting to implement it after the family was divided. Su Qingni, okay, the world I traveled through this time was the world formed by the heroine's farming novel. Dongsu not only said these, she also told the secret of the haunted house. Dongsu did not believe in ghosts, so she went to the haunted house to explore alone, and met a dying person. The man knew that he would not survive, so he told Dongsu the secret that had been buried in his heart for many years. As for what the secret was, Su Qingni was not interested in asking, so Dongsu did not say it. Su Qingni only knew that there were no ghosts in this world, and people who pretended to be ghosts no longer existed, so she could live there without any worries. Chapter 949, The Old Farmer Part 4. Su Qingni brought Dongsu back to the Su family and continued to practice in her own room. When it was just dawn, Su Qingni woke up Su Qingni and Qingmei who were practicing. The two children were full of surprise. They had transformed the inner force that Su Qingni left in their bodies into their own. It was this inner force that made them feel much more relaxed, especially Su Qingni. In the past, he would start panting after walking 2 steps, but now he only panted slightly after jogging for more than 100 meters with his father. Practicing internal energy is really magical. The two siblings sighed that they did not feel tired at all after practicing internal energy without sleeping all night. Both of them thought about not sleeping at night in the future and using it to practice. But they were stopped by Su Qingni. It is better to sleep normally at night, especially for children. Without sufficient sleep, they will not grow tall. And you can't practice martial arts too fast. Haste makes waste. Taking the two children to the foot of the mountain outside the village, Su Qingni found an open place and began to teach the two children to learn boxing. This boxing technique, like the 5 animals exercises, also has the effect of nourishing the body, and it is quite powerful after being practiced. Su Qingni's body is too weak. A set of boxing techniques has a total of 36 moves, corresponding to the number of Niangniang, but Su Qingni could not continue after only 3 moves, and was so tired that he was gasping for breath. Su Qingmei was better than Su Qingni and could only fight 5 moves. Su Qingni was very frustrated that he could not even beat a girl. Su Qingni comforted the boy, if you work hard in the future, you will definitely catch up with your second sister. Really? The boy blinked his big eyes to confirm. Really? Su Qingni nodded, you are more qualified to learn martial arts than your second sister. The boy smiled and said, then I will continue to practice boxing. Su Qingni stopped the boy. It is said that haste makes waste. You should know when to stop doing anything. Forcing yourself will only hurt your body. Oh. The boy retracted his hands and feet obediently. Su Qingni turned to the girl. I said your brother will be better than you in the future. You won't be angry, right? The girl quickly shook her head. It's natural that my brother is better than me. She is just a girl. How can she compare to her brother who can bear the burden of the family? Su Qingni silently thought about the girl's head. The girl's thoughts are the thoughts of all women in this era. They all think that they can compare to men. If it were Dongsu, she would not think so. She would definitely be very jealous of Su Qingni, and would try every means to improve her own strength. In this regard, Su Qingni admired Dongsu. The 3 people returned to the Su family, and the people in the other 3 rooms were already eating breakfast. Yesterday, the family was divided and the utensils in the kitchen were also divided, so the 3 families made their own breakfast. They divided into 3 groups in the yard and started eating. Su Qingni walked into the yard with 2 children. Su Dashan and the other 2 were stunned. Then they remembered that their wives did not make breakfast for their fathers, and they all gave their wives a look. Su Dashan said to Su Qingni awkwardly, Dad, I'll ask Zhao to make breakfast for you. No need. Su Qingni refused indifferently, we have already separated, there is no need for you to cook. Qingmei, you go cook, I have to go out to find a Taoist priest after cooking. Su Dashan and others already knew that Su Qingni was going to move to the haunted house, and they felt guilty. But if they asked Su Qingni and the other two to stay, they were not very willing. If the three of them left, 3 rooms would be vacant. It happened that they had 1 room each for the 3 rooms. "Dad, I'll go with you," Su Dashan said. Su Qingni still refused. "Don't talk to me if you don't have anything to do in the future, and don't look for me if you have something to do." Then she walked into her room. The 3 sons who stayed in the yard turned pale and looked very ugly. Their father really didn't recognize them as his 3 sons. Did they do something wrong? They didn't think they did anything wrong. What's wrong with considering their family and children? Dad should understand them. Although the 3 people thought so, they still felt a little regretful. "Master, hurry up and eat. We have to go out to work after dinner," Zhao reminded Su Dashan. Su Dashan turned around and glared at Zhao fiercely. "Why are you looking at me like that?" Zhao felt hairy on her back. Su Dashan retracted his gaze, said nothing, and started eating with a bowl in his arms. Su Qingni's hands and feet were nimble, and she quickly prepared breakfast. After breakfast, Su Qingni went out. Su Qingni and Su Sihei continued to practice health-preserving exercises in the house. They didn't want to go out and contact their brothers and sisters-in-law. After leaving the village, Su Qingni went to the only Taoist temple in the county, bought an old Taoist robe with silver money, and put it on. She used her skills to temporarily change her appearance and returned to the village. When the villagers saw the strange Taoist priest, they naturally asked about his origins. Su Qingni replied that she was the Taoist priest invited by Old Man Su to exorcise ghosts. As for why Old Man Su didn't follow him? Isn't it because Old Man Su's legs are too slow? I was fast, so I came first. Everyone saw that the Taoist priest's 1 step was 3 steps away from the others. This speed, well, it was normal that Old Man Su couldn't catch up with him with his old arms and legs. Su Qingni came to the haunted house at the foot of the mountain with such fanfare, and then walked into the gate in the fearful eyes of the villagers who followed. The villagers who didn't dare to enter the door looked around 100 meters away from the haunted house, and sometimes saw the Taoist priest flying to the roof and seemed to be fighting with something. The villagers exclaimed, "You can fly. It's really a master." Duangsu was dumbfounded in the crowd. She was sure that there were no ghosts in the haunted house, and the Taoist priest was lying. But this can jump to the roof in one go. Damn. Qinggong. There is Qinggong in this world. This Taoist priest is another level of master. Su Qingni played a lot of boxing and kicking skills in the haunted house, and then walked out of the door, indicating that the ghost inside had been subdued by him, but the ghosts had been entrenched in it for too long, and the yin energy was too heavy. Ordinary people living in it for a long time would affect their health. Only those who carry the amulet he drew can live in it. After hearing this, those who knew that the ghosts had been exorcised and had thoughts about the haunted house quickly gave up their thoughts, but there were still those who refused to give up and asked the Taoist priest to buy amulets. The Taoist priest stared at the man with an unfathomable smile, turned around and left, and disappeared from everyone's sight in a blink of an eye. The villagers called themselves masters, and then looked at Su Sanchi's wife, Sun, with contempt. The person who asked to buy the amulet just now was Sun. Everyone knew about the division of the Su family, and also knew why the old man Su asked the Taoist priest to come to the haunted house to exorcise the ghosts. Sun's behavior made the villagers despise her. You have already driven your old father out of the ancestral house, and now you don't even let go of the place he has found to live. Why is this person so greedy? Chapter 950, The Old Farmer. Sun's face was burning with anger from the villagers' stares, so she hurried home. However, when she got home, she was slapped by her husband. You hit me. Sun felt wronged. Su Sanchi glared at Sun fiercely. If you dare to have the idea of the haunted house again, I will beat you to death. Because of the successful separation, the 3 brothers of the Su family were originally less dissatisfied with their parents, and they also felt guilty. In addition, other people in the village pointed fingers at them behind their backs. The 3 brothers felt ashamed and reflected on their own behavior. At this time, Sun actually wanted to covet their father's residence. Isn't this a hindrance? This made the villagers look down on Su Sanchi even more. On the day of the separation, the village chief left and specifically told them about the court's emphasis on filial piety. If they did too much, their father could go to the government office to sue them for being unfilial, and they would be beaten with a stick and sentenced to exile. I am not our family. The eldest brother is about to get married, and it will be easier to get married with a big house. Sun said aggrievedly. How can you be our family? You want to kill me. You want me to be exiled and remarry and find another man, right? These words were so vicious that Sun was stunned. Su Sanchi was still not satisfied, and he punched Sun directly, making her scream and cry miserably. Zhao and Jin saw the miserable state of their sisters-in-law and the gloomy faces of their husbands, and they dared not think about the haunted house again. Duang Su thought that Mr. Su was quite interesting. She knew that there were no ghosts in the haunted house, and the Taoist priest must be a hired help by the old man Su. What's more, you can't enter the haunted house without a talisman! Exclamation mark. Haha, the haunted house was her territory before, and she could enter whenever she wanted. How come she was not hurt by the so-called yin energy? This grandfather is smarter than his parents. Duang Su thought that after the separation, it was possible that Grandpa could lead his fourth uncle to live better than his eldest uncle's family and his third uncle's family. Of course, it was definitely not as good as her own family. It seems that we can't underestimate the natives. Old farmers also have their own life wisdom. Duang Su sighed in her heart, but she lowered her previous condescending attitude towards the natives. Su Qingni walked out of the village and found a remote place to change her Taoist robe, put on Su Laohun's original clothes, and restored her appearance. She dug a pit and buried the Taoist robe in the pit, and covered it with soil to eliminate the evidence. After doing all this, Su Qingni moved her old arms and legs slowly back to the village. When she entered the village, she was stopped by the villagers, who excitedly told her how the master she invited exorcised ghosts, and then looked at Su Qingni with envy. It's still Su Laozhen, you are quick-witted. You actually thought of asking a Taoist priest to exorcise ghosts. This time you have earned a big house for nothing. Su Qingni waved her hand quickly. How can it be earned for nothing? It doesn't cost money to invite a master. If you pay less, can you invite a Taoist priest with real skills? The villagers thought about it and it was right. It is not easy to invite such a master. Old man Su must have spent a lot of money, maybe more than building a new house. Old man Su must have been mad at his sons and wanted to move out of the ancestral house as soon as possible, so he spent a lot of money to hire someone to exorcise the ghost. Thinking this way, everyone looked down on Su Dashan and his two friends, including their wives. Su Qingni returned to the Su family's ancestral house and called Su Sihei and Su Qingmi, asking them to take their luggage and go to the haunted house with her. Dad, you haven't given us the amulet yet. Su Sihei said. Su Qingni smiled and said, no amulet. Su Qingmi couldn't help but worry when she heard it. Without the amulet, won't it affect our health if we live in? Dad, let's not move in for the time being. Su Sihei's mind turned quickly, and he laughed all of a sudden. Dad, did you find that Taoist priest to act? There are no ghosts in the haunted house, right? Su Qingmi reached out and patted the boy's head. See through it but don't say it. Su Sihei quickly closed his mouth, with a smile on his face. Su Qingmi understood what her brother said, but she was still worried. Dad, what if there is a ghost in the haunted house? Don't worry, there is no ghost inside. Su Qingni revealed some things to them. Someone is pretending to be a ghost. Someone is pretending to be a ghost? Who? Su Sihei and Su Qingmi were very curious. It's a person from outside the province who is wanted by the government and hides in the haunted house. He pretended to be a ghost to scare people so that the villagers dare not approach the haunted house, and no one found him. Su Qingni said. Where is that person? Su Sihei asked. Su Qingni said, he died some time ago. Su Sihei and Su Qingmi were relieved to hear that. The three of them had already fallen in love with the haunted house while talking. Well, it can't be called a haunted house now, it's their new home. The house is made entirely of stone, and even the wall of the yard is made of stone, and it is 3 points higher than the wall of an ordinary farmyard, making it difficult for ordinary people to climb up. However, the wooden door has been burned in the fire, and the furniture in the house has all been destroyed in the fire. 3 people are going to move in, and there are many things to buy. The room is full of dust, and the walls are blackened by fire. It looks spacious and well lit. There is also a well in the yard, which is convenient for water use, which makes the 2 children very satisfied. You know, there is no well in the Su family's ancestral house. The Su family has to carry water by themselves. Originally, Su Qingmi was worried that her father was old, she was a girl, and her brother was in poor health, so drinking water was a problem. Unexpectedly, the haunted house has its own well, so she doesn't have to worry about drinking water in the future. Su Qingni rolled up her sleeves and started cleaning the house, and Su Qingni and Su Sihei naturally helped. After a night of practice, Su Sihei's health improved a little and he could do some easy work. Su Qingni handed the task of sweeping the floor to Su Sihei. The father and his son worked all day and finally cleaned the house. It's just that the marks left by the fire on the wall can't be removed, and it looks a bit shabby. Su Qingni thought about going to the county town to buy some paint and paint the walls. In ancient times, paint was made from the juice of lacquer trees. It was natural, non-toxic, and often used to make tableware. Therefore, there is no need to worry about the impact of the volatility of paint on the body. In addition to paint, furniture and some kitchen utensils must be bought. When the family was divided, the good utensils in the kitchen were snatched away by the three daughters-in-law, leaving them with only a rusty kitchen knife and a clay pot with a broken ear. Still need to buy. Su Qingni calculated how much money it would cost to buy these things. Su Qingni also thought about the problem of buying things for the family. Dad, go find brother Xiuzi tomorrow and ask him to help us make furniture. Xiuzi is the son of Suobo. He has been an apprentice to a carpenter since he was a child and has become a master a few years ago. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.